President Ramchandra Paudel urges top leaders of the country's three major parties to work together for elections, calls elections as a way forward. Election Commission prepares for Nepal's proportional representation polls ahead of March 5. Both parties must submit inclusive candidate list by December 28 to 29. Education Department of Kathmandu Metropolitan City issues public notice, asks 107 schools to come into contact, citing lack of physical operation. Hundreds of people protest near Bangladesh's High Commission in New Delhi. Allegations of blasphemy exacerbates tensions between two nations. US President Donald Trump sparks a fresh row with Denmark after appointing a special envoy to Greenland. Talks about Arctic island annexation. And FIFA tests new technology which can determine if the ball went out of play before a goal was scored. Out-of-bounds innovation tested in 3 Intercontinental Cup matches. Good evening, I'm Aprila Gisinglama and this is NTV World Primetime News coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Across the globe, it's 1:15 p.m. in London, 10:15 p.m. in Tokyo and just after midnight in Sydney. Now the news in details. President Ramchandra Paudel has urged the top leadership of the country's three major political parties to work together for the elections. During a discussion held this Tuesday afternoon at the President's residence Sital Niwas with Prime Minister Sushila Karki, Nepali Congress President and former Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba, CPN-UML Chairperson and former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and CPN Maoist Centre Coordinator and former Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal, the President made this appeal. According to the President's press advisor, Kiran Pokhrel. Pokhrel said that there was also an understanding to hold detailed discussions at Balotar to create a conducive environment for the elections. President Paudel said, given the serious and sensitive situation of the country, elections have been announced as a way forward. Keeping this seriousness in mind, it is the sole responsibility to work together to make the elections successful. Emphasizing that elections are the most appropriate option to resolve the country's current complex situation, President Paudel stressed the need to ensure the success of the House of Representatives election scheduled for March 5th. A government team has carried out inspections of political party offices damaged during the recent Gen Z protest. In this connection, the team, including Law Minister Anil Kumar Sinha, Communications Minister Jagdish Kharel and Prime Minister's Chief Advisor Ajay Bhadra Khanal, visited the Nepali Congress Party office in Sanepat to assess the extent of the damage. After the inspection, officials held discussions with party representatives covering both the property damage and upcoming election-related matters. The team also conducted similar inspections at offices of CPN-UML and the former Maoist Centre. The visits follow widespread attacks on September 9 when offices of major parties, leaders, residences, government buildings, courts, police stations, shopping centres and private businesses were set ablaze during the Gen Z protests. Officials say these inspections aim to document losses and facilitate political dialogue. With just 73 days remaining until Nepal's House of Representatives election on March 5th, the Election Commission is intensifying preparations for the proportional representation system. Political parties are required to submit their closed candidates list early next week with a maximum of 110 and minimum as per the party. The list must reflect Nepal's inclusive policies based on the 2028 national census. At least 50% of candidates from each group must be women, while candidates from backward regions and persons with disabilities must also be included. To guide the parties on these legal and technical requirements, the Election Commission held an orientation program in Kathmandu, which party representatives described as highly useful ahead of the submission deadlines set for December 28 and 29th. The orientation ensures compliance and smooth conduct of the proportional representation election system. The representation of the ethnic group Khas Aryas in Nepal's federal parliament proportional representation system is set to see a decline in the upcoming election, while Dalit representation is also expected to lessen slightly as the Election Commission enforces proportional quotas based on the 2021 census. Bijeta Bhandari reports.
The representation of Khas Aryas as the most populous ethnicity in Nepal is certain to go down in the federal parliament in the upcoming election. As parties are preparing to submit the closed list for the proportional representation system, Election Commission of Nepal has directed the parties to adopt the proportion quota as per the new census of 2021. As per the data of the Election Commission, the population of Khas Aryas has decreased by almost 1% in the country from the earlier census of 2011. As per the latest census, Khas Aryas make up 30.28% of the total population of the country, while in the earlier representation quota based on the 2011 census, it was 31.2%. According to the 2021 census, the indigenous nationalities make up 28.72%, Madheshis make 16.15%, Dalit makes 13.44%, Tharo makes 6.5%, and Muslims were at 4.89% of the total population. Previously, based on the 2011 census, the figures showed that Dalits were at 13.8%, indigenous nationalities at 28.7%, Khas Aryas at 31.2%, Madheshis at 15.3%, Tharo at 6.6%, and Muslims at 4.4%. While all other ethnic groups saw some increment in the population in the 2021 census, their proportional share in the legislature is certain to remain the same, if not increased. According to the Commission, at least 4.02% of the candidates must come from backward regions, including Acham, Kalikot, Jajarkot, Jumla, Dolba, Bathang, Bajura, Mugu, and Humla of the Karnali region. A total of 93 political parties who have applied to contest in the proportional representation system are being trained by the Election Commission to ensure the new census's proportion.
पौष 13 र 14 गते निर्धारण गरिएको छ। दलहरूले बन्द सूची पेश गर्दाखेरि आवश्यक पर्ने कागजातहरू के हुन् अनि कस्ता कस्ता उम्मेदवारहरू बन्द सूचीमा पेश गर्न मिल्छ, योग्यता अयोग्यता विषय के हुन् भन्ने लगायतका कानुनी व्यवस्था र बन्द सूची पेश गर्दाखेरि त्यसको समावेशी क्लस्टरको व्यवस्था अनि समावेशिताको व्यवस्था लगायतको प्राविधिक विषयहरू यी कानुनी र प्राविधिक विषयहरूमा अभिमुखीकरण कार्यक्रम सञ्चालन गरिएको।
Of the 275 seats in the federal parliament, 110 have been allocated for proportional representation chosen through the percentage vote received by each party. 40% of the representation has been ensured by the Constitution to ensure inclusive and equitable representation of all gender, ethnic groups, region, religion, among others in the legislature. Political parties submit a ranked or numbered closed list of candidates in advance, which cannot be altered. Candidates are elected from this list based on the number of votes the party receives, which is later converted into percentage and seats allocated accordingly. Political parties are expected to submit their closed list for proportional representation within a week, though there is a week-long window for parties to amend the list once verified by the Commission. The aim is to educate the parties in advance so that there would not be any issues. Bijeta Bhandari with camera person Binita Rijal reporting for NTV World.
We will take a short break here. More news coming up. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Now, the CPN UML has informed its provincial and district leadership about the message of the recently concluded 11th National General Convention. Organizing a virtual meeting earlier today, party leaders were informed that unless security is guaranteed and the constitutional test of the formation of the current government is completed, the election of members of the House of Representatives scheduled for March 5, 2026 cannot be ensured under the current circumstances. UML General Secretary Sankar Pokhara stated that various conspiracies are being carried out against the party and its leadership, and he also directed party members to remain prepared to counter them. The Education Department of Kathmandu Metropolitan City has issued a public notice asking 107 schools to come into contact, citing lack of physical operation. Based on the notice issued by the metropolis, in line with the decision of the Municipal Education Committee on August 13 this year, it was found that some schools which had previously received permission are currently not operating on the ground. The metropolis has given these 107 schools 15 days to contact the Education Department. The Metropolitan City has also made the list of such schools public and stated that it is moving forward with the process of cancelling the permits of schools if needed. Moving on, following reconstruction of the Miteri Bridge between Nepal and China, which had been washed away by floods, the Rashwagadi Immigration Office has begun renewing border passes for travel between Rashwa and Kerung. The reconstruction took 6 months to complete. According to the Immigration Office in Rashwa, the process of renewing passes for vehicle drivers traveling toward Kerung for the purpose of importing goods has started. Chinese government completed the construction of a Bailey Bridge over the Lende River between Nepal and China, and as a result, the renewal of passes, duplication and issuance of new passes, among others, have been underway for the past few days. The Immigration Office in Rashwa has said in the case of individuals who have migrated and settled in Rashwa district from outside, renewal, duplication and issuance of new passes will be carried out only based on consensus of all stakeholders. In the hilly Palpa district, rising cold has begun affecting children from the marginalized Maji and Boat communities. In Tansen municipality, children are falling ill with coughs, fevers, tonsillitis and chest infections. Many parents in these communities work as daily laborers or fish and collect sand from the Kaligandagi River, leaving children without proper care. These economically and socially disadvantaged groups also face shortages of basic services, including warm clothing, nutritious food, healthcare, education, roads, and drinking water. Local authorities warn that urgent attention is needed to protect the health and well-being of these vulnerable children. In northern Dading's Ruby Valley Rural Municipality, a tourist lodge built nearly a decade ago at Pangsang Bhanjang remains abandoned and in disrepair. Constructed with UK aid support by the Trekking Association of Nepal to provide accommodation for trekkers on the Ruby Valley Trail, the lodge now lies unused, with livestock occasionally kept inside. The facility, located at an altitude of 3,850 meters, was intended to offer trekkers rest and shelter while enjoying panoramic views of mountains including Paldor, Wabil and Ganesh. However, poor maintenance and lack of local management have left it unfit for human use. Authorities say greater attention is needed to preserve and maintain such tourist infrastructure to ensure investment is not wasted and to support sustainable tourism in the region. Now, the latest population of endangered gharial crocodiles in Nepal's heart of the jungle Chitwan National Park display increasing numbers by 366. A rise in the number of rare gharial crocodiles in the national park's Rapti and Narayani rivers highlights the significant strides in long-term conservation efforts. Regina Rai with our local correspondent Rajendra Acharya explain more on the matter later. The price of gold has reached an all-time high today, increasing by 5,500 Nepali rupees per tola, while the price of silver rose by 20 Nepali rupees. With the increase, hallmark gold is now selling at 267,200 Nepali rupees per tola and silver at 4,255 per tola. On Monday, hallmark gold was traded at 261,700 per tola and the price of silver was 4,235 Nepali rupees per tola. Gold and silver traders say prices have been fluctuating due to the impact of the international market and changes in demand. International news coming up next. For now, a short break. Hundreds of people protested near Bangladesh's High Commission in New Delhi today against the lynching of a Hindu man over allegations of blasphemy that has exacerbated tensions between the two nations. The demonstrations, called by Hindu groups, involved people clashing with police personnel as they tried to push through barricades set up near the High Commission. 27-year-old factory worker Dipu Chandra Das was beaten and set on fire in Bangladesh's Mymensingh district last week by a crowd that accused him of making derogatory remarks about the Prophet. At least 10 people have been arrested in connection with his death. The lynching has worsened relations between India and its neighbor weeks before Bangladesh holds a parliamentary election and both countries have suspended visa services. Bangladesh said it summoned the Indian envoy today to express concern over a similar protest near its mission in New Delhi on Saturday and violent protests outside other diplomatic missions, urging India to investigate the incidents. Diplomatic ties have been strained since Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina fled to New Delhi following deadly protests against her last year. U.S. President Donald Trump has sparked a fresh row with Denmark after appointing a special envoy to Greenland, the vast Arctic island he has said he would like to annex. The White House has argued that Greenland's strategic location in the Arctic makes it essential to U.S. security interests, particularly as the region sees increasing military and commercial activity due to climate change and shifting global dynamics. Trump previously suggested that the United States could buy Greenland, proposals that were firmly dismissed by Danish and Greenlandic leaders. The move, meanwhile, has angered Copenhagen, which said it would call the U.S. ambassador for an explanation. Greenland's prime minister said the island must decide our own future and its territorial integrity must be respected. Now, Russia has intensified its strikes on the southern Ukrainian region of Odessa, causing widespread power cuts and threatening the region's maritime infrastructure. Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Oleksiy Kuleba said Moscow was carrying out systematic attacks on the region. Last week, he warned that the focus of the war may have shifted towards Odessa. President Volodymyr Zelensky said the repeated attacks were an attempt by Moscow to block Ukraine's access to maritime logistics. Earlier in December, Russian President Vladimir Putin threatened to sever Ukraine's access to the sea as retaliation for drone attacks on tankers of Russia's Shadow Fleet in the Black Sea. Shadow fleet is a term that refers to hundreds of tankers used by Russia to bypass Western sanctions imposed after its full-scale invasion on Ukraine in 2022. Now, Cambodia's Defense Ministry spokesperson said the death toll from border clashes with Thailand has risen to 21 as both sides continue to fight. The two nations are set to negotiate truce terms after 2 weeks of deadly border clashes. Cambodia, meanwhile, has asked Thailand to hold bilateral talks in the neutral venue of Kuala Lumpur. Bangkok's defense chief on Tuesday sought to assuage any fears on the Cambodian side about the meeting taking place in Thailand, and the Thai Foreign Ministry said the venue was still being discussed. The nation's long-standing border conflict reignited this month, shattering an earlier truce, killing more than 40 people and displacing over 900,000 on both sides, according to officials. The UN said on Tuesday that Myanmar's junta was using violence and intimidation to force people to vote in upcoming military-controlled elections, while armed opposition groups were using similar tactics to keep people away. United Nations Rights Chief Volker Turk says the military authorities in Myanmar must stop using brutal violence to compel people to vote and stop arresting people for expressing any dissenting views, said in a statement. Myanmar's junta is set to preside over voting starting on Sunday, touting heavily restricted polls as a return to democracy 5 years after it ousted the last elected government, triggering civil war. But former civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi remains jailed and her hugely popular party dissolved after soldiers ended the nation's decade-long democratic experiment in February 2021. More international news and sports update up next. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, on his official visit to Sri Lanka, has announced $450 million repackaging reconstruction to support the island nation's recovery and rebuilding efforts. In a strong demonstration of India's commitment to regional solidarity, Jaishankar, along with his Sri Lankan counterpart, inaugurated a 120-foot dual carriageway Bailey Bridge in Kilinochchi district of Northern Province, one of the areas worst affected by Cyclone Ditwa. The visit underscores India's neighbourhood first policy and takes place in the backdrop of Operation Sagar Bandhu, launched by India to assist Sri Lanka in addressing the devastation caused by Cyclone Ditwa. The visit is expected to further strengthen bilateral cooperation and regional partnership between the two countries. Now, locals in Guinea-Bissau are raising the alarm as the Bijagos Archipelago, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, faces severe coastal erosion that is gradually swallowing its islands. Residents reported that rising sea levels and worsening erosion are threatening homes, infrastructure and livelihoods. Environmental experts warn that climate change and unregulated coastal development are accelerating the island's vulnerability. The Bijagos, known for their rich biodiversity and cultural heritage, could face irreversible damage if protective measures are not implemented. Now, a top Amazon executive has said the U.S. technology giant has blocked more than 1,800 job applications from suspected North Korean agents. North Koreans try to apply for remote working IT jobs using stolen or fake identities, according to the Chief Security Officer, Stephen Smith. Authorities in the U.S. and South Korea have warned about Pyongyang's operatives carrying out online scams. Amazon has seen a nearly one-third increase in job applications from North Koreans in the past year. The firm says it uses a combination of artificial intelligence tools and verification by its staff to screen job applications, adding the strategies used by such fraudsters have become more sophisticated. Time now for Sports Update. FIFA is testing new technology which can determine if the ball went out of play before a goal was scored. The out-of-bounds innovation is one of a series which were tested in 3 Intercontinental Cup matches in Qatar this month. FIFA has also expanded real-time 3D recreation to make line-of-sight judgments for offsides quicker and clearer. There are 2 virtual feeds available to the video assistant referee and TV viewers which replicate the perspectives of both goalkeepers. The new technologies have been developed by FIFA and Hawkeye Innovations. It remains to be seen if they would become available to domestic leagues. The Premier League has produced many controversial incidents in recent sessions, which this technology could have helped resolve. Nepal's women's cricket team is set to compete in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup Global Qualifier, with a full match schedule now announced. The tournament, featuring 10 teams, will take place from 14th January at the Mulpani Cricket Ground and the Tribhuvan University Cricket Stadium. Nepal has been placed in Group B alongside Scotland, Thailand, the Netherlands and Zimbabwe, while Group A includes Bangladesh, Ireland, Namibia, Papua New Guinea and the USA. Nepal will face Thailand in its opening match at Mulpani. This marks Nepal's first appearance in the global qualifier, having advanced through the Asia regional stage. The top 3 teams from each group will progress to the Super 6 stage, with the top 4 ultimately qualifying for the 2026 Women's T20 World Cup. Winter sports with local characteristics are creating fun for residents and tourists in China. While launching a series of activities integrating ice and snow sports with cultural tourism on December 20, Jixi City in northeast China's Heilongjiang province also opened its 3rd Winter Games for residents. More than 2,000 people, including locals and tourists, participated in the opening ceremony. The event included ice hockey matches and special sports such as dragon boat races on ice and ball-carrying running races, where both the winter sports enthusiasts and audiences shared the joy of competing on ice and snow. A major indoor ski resort in Rongxian County of South China's Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region is offering a wide range of activities for people of different age groups, including areas for kids to enjoy toy train rides and ice slides. Now, before we wrap up, let's take a look into the headlines once again. President Ramchandra Paudel urges top leadership of the country's 3 major parties to work together for the elections, calls elections as a way forward. Election Commission prepares for Nepal's proportional representation polls ahead of March 5. Both parties must submit inclusive candidate lists by December 28 to 29. Education Department of Kathmandu Metropolitan City issues public notice, asks 107 schools to come into contact, citing lack of physical operation. Hundreds of people protest near Bangladesh's High Commission in New Delhi. Allegations of blasphemy exacerbates tensions between 2 nations. US President Donald Trump sparks a fresh row with Denmark after appointing a special envoy to Greenland. Talks about Arctic island annexation. And FIFA tests new technology which can determine if the ball went all out of play before the goal was scored. Out-of-bounds innovation tested in 3 intercontinental matches. That's all for NTV World Primetime News for now. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through our social media and visit us at www.nepaltelevision.com for more information and news. I am Iprula Gising Lama. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu, Public Service Broadcasting PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World.
Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
Nepal, a land of unparalleled natural beauty and rich heritage. Tucked in the heart of Himalayas, this small yet mighty country is a living tapestry of religious, cultural, and historical significance. The capital city of Kathmandu sits like a jewel at the crossroads of time, surrounded by towering peaks and the lush landscapes of Kathmandu Valley. The vibrant city is home to a unique blend of cultural families, each deeply rooted in the traditions that have shaped Nepal for centuries. Kathmandu is a city where history, religion, and art are not just preserved but actively celebrated. This city is also the proud home to 7 of the world's most significant cultural heritage sites, all of which are recognized by UNESCO. For centuries, the people of Nepal have dreamed of sharing their nation's unique story with the world. And Nepal and its people have captured the world's attention and admiration. It is a place that draws people from every corner of the globe, inspiring awe with its ancient temples, stunning architecture, and deeply rooted spiritual legacy. In 1989, UNESCO declared 3 historical zones in Kathmandu as World Heritage Sites, including 2 Buddhist stupas and 2 Hindu temples. One such remarkable site is the Hanuman Thoka Darbar Square, a historical treasure located in the heart of Kathmandu Valley. The legacy of ancient kings is written in every stone of this sacred ground. From the reign of King Ratna Malla to that of mighty King Bir Bikram, Hanuman Thoka has been a central figure in the cultural and political life of Nepal. Here, the temple of Taleju, Jagannath, Shiva Parvati, the massive Thulo Ghanta, Kal Bhairav Shrine, Maiju Devol, and the Kumari Khal are among the most important landmarks. The intricacy of the temples, the carvings, the statues, and the entire architectural composition bear witness to the authenticity and craftsmanship of Nepalese art. The preservation of these artifacts is crucial as many of them are unique to Nepal and cannot be found anywhere else in the world. Each day, hundreds of international tourists visit this place not only to witness its beauty, but also to learn about its cultural and historical significance. Many scholars and academics visit Kathmandu to study the profound artistic and architectural heritage found in the city. Another historical gem is the Patan Darbar Square, an ancient palace complex that dates back to Malla dynasty. Located in the city of Patan, which is also known as the City of Art, the square is a testament to the creativity and devotion of Malla kings. Built during the 17th and 18th centuries, Patan's magnificent temples and palaces were commissioned by King Siddhi Narsingh, King Srinivas, and King Yoganendra Malla, whose influence is still visible in the area's grand architecture. Some of Patan's most famous landmarks include Mool Chowk, Sundari Chowk, Bhimsen Mandir, Krishna Mandir, Taleju, and Kumbheshwar Mandir. Among these, Sundari Chowk is an attraction in itself, and nearby Tusa Hiti Dhara, a traditional water spout, adds an authentic touch to the cultural experience. The Krishna Mandir, built in the distinct Shikhara style, is another highlight. This temple is particularly famous for its stone carvings depicting scenes from the Ramayana and Mahabharata, an absolute visual feast for visitors. For centuries, Patan has stood as a symbol of artistic excellence.
The Rato Machinanath Jatra, a festival celebrated not only as the pride of Lalitpur, but also recognized globally for its cultural significance, has just concluded. This year, beginning on May 18, we launched a 40-day campaign showcasing the grandeur of the procession. The participation throughout the festival was truly encouraging. Last year, we welcomed around 200,000 visitors. This year, by mid-June alone, the footfall has already surpassed 225,000. This achievement fills us with immense pride. while also reminding us that there is still much more to accomplish. We currently offer a guided tour from Patan Dhoka to museum, completely free of cost, with the aim of establishing our heritage as a living part of our collective identity. Patan Museum has long been committed to safeguarding both the tangible and intangible cultural heritage of this region. It serves not only as a local exhibition space, but as a vital destination dedicated to preserving and celebrating the culture of this historic city. Our tangible inheritances, many of them dating back to the Lichavi era, stand as remarkable non-living heritage, while our festivals, rituals and processions embody the vibrancy of our living traditions. Both forms of heritage are invaluable to us. It is our responsibility to protect them, nurture them, and ensure they pass down to the future generations with the same reverence with which we receive them. International tourists travel to Nepal to experience the richness of our natural and cultural heritage. Our historical buildings, artifacts, sacred idols form an integral part of that experience. Many visitors take the time to explore, observe, and fully immerse themselves in the stories these treasures hold.
Established by the King Bardev, the city was originally known as Lalitpuri Adinam. It was not just the royal home, but the administrative heart of the region. The intricate woodwork, the timeless architecture, and the thriving cultural scene make Patan a perfect example of Nepal's historical richness. Bhaktapur, another ancient city, takes its place among the jewels of Nepal. Known for its stunning art, culture, and architecture, Bhaktapur is a city that has preserved its medieval charm. According to Gopal Raj's genealogy, the city was established by King Anandadev. The Bhaktapur Darbar Square is one of the most captivating sites, with attractions like Singhadwar, Swarnadwar, Chardham, and Nyatapol Mandir. Among these, the Pachmanna Jhale Darbar, or the palace with 55 windows, stands out as an iconic symbol of Bhaktapur's rich history. This palace, originally built during King Yakshamalla's reign and later reconstructed by King Bhupatendra in the 17th century, is one of the finest examples of the Malla period's architectural prowess. The art gallery within the palace is also a significant attraction for tourists and art lovers. The cultural heritage of Bhaktapur is alive and well.
Now we are in Bhaktapur and we are very surprised about the city. It's like incredible. Imagine that from how long this city has been with human beings and culture around. So we are very impressed. Probably one of the most beautiful cities that we ever seen. The construction, the architecture is very nice. The bricks, that is like all the city made from bricks and wood. And the people also is very happy, very friendly. You can move easily from anywhere because they have transport for everywhere. Take a long time be in the roads because the roads are not so good, but you can do it to any place. So it's very easy to move, it's very beautiful to see, and it's very satisfied for your heart, this kind of culture.
Bhaktapur, who is one of the most beautiful cities that I never seen before. It's a very ancient city. Some temples were constructed like in 12th century. so you feel like another time, and you can walk a lot of days, and you can see the smile of the people, the street, this history. So we are very impressed and happy to came to this. Every day I send pictures to them, to my family, and they are so impressive too. I think that this country is a very complete country to spend a holiday or a long trip, wherever you can do. You can be in different parts with different views and history and culture. So I invite to all you to come to Nepal and enjoy this beautiful place.
From the Kumars who craft their signature mud products to the intricate wooden crafts that define the city, Bhaktapur offers a window into traditional lifestyle of the Malla era. The famous black cap, Bhatgaule topi, worn by Nepali men, also originates here, a small yet meaningful piece of cultural pride. On the spiritual front, Pashupatinath Temple is one of the most revered religious sites in Nepal and across the Hindu world. The temple, built in pagoda style, stands as a beacon of faith for millions of Hindus worldwide. It is believed that a pilgrimage to Pashupatinath is equivalent to visiting 4 sacred dhams of India. Built by King Bhupatindra Malla, this temple serves as a center of worship for a diverse array of spiritual communities, including Buddhists, Jains, Sikhs, and others. The Pashupatinath complex is rich with temples, shrines, and sacred sites, each one steeped in centuries of religious history. One of the most significant festivals here is Shivaratri, a grand celebration of Lord Shiva that attracts thousands of devotees from around the world. Every year, during the special month of Shravan, the temple hosts vibrant rituals and ceremonies, drawing pilgrims to witness these sacred observances. The surrounding Slaismantak forest adds to the serene atmosphere of Pashupatinath. The temple's unique wooden structures, gilded pinnacles, and the bronze statue of Nandi at the entrance all contribute to the spiritual ambience. The daily evening lighting ceremony at the Pashupatinath is a tranquil and profound experience for both locals and international visitors alike. Swambhunath, also known as the Monkey Temple, is another spiritual landmark in Kathmandu. Perched atop the Padmakantagiri hill, this ancient stupa offers sweeping views of the entire valley. The temple is especially important for Buddhists who revere it as a place of profound spiritual significance. Legends say it was here that the Bipasri Buddha meditated, marking the beginning of Kathmandu Valley's spiritual foundation. Swambhunath's two all-seeing eyes, which watch over the valley, are a powerful symbol of justice and wisdom. Visitors who climb the 365 steps to reach the stupa are greeted not only by the temple's beauty, but by the entire history of Nepal, etched in every stone and statue. The region also houses a museum and a library, both offering further insight into Nepal's religious and cultural past. Equally impressive is the Bodhanath Stupa, one of the largest in South Asia. Built in the 5th century, the stupa is a testament to Nepal's enduring connection to Tibetan Buddhism. The legend surrounding Bodhanath's construction is as captivating as its physical presence. It is said that the king, upon being asked if the stupa could be built, mistakenly replied in the affirmative, leading to the creation of this sacred monument. Bodhanath has become a hub for the Tibetan Buddhist community, especially during Losar festival, celebrated by Sherpa people. Its significance stretches beyond Nepal, linking the country to broader Buddhist world. The Changunarayan temple, located on the outskirts of Bhaktapur, is another example of Nepal's ancient cultural heritage. Built in the 4th century BCE, it is one of the oldest Hindu temples in Kathmandu Valley. Its intricate woodwork, stunning carvings and inscriptions make it a true architectural marvel. Dedicated to Lord Vishnu, the temple is a site of pilgrimage for Hindus and is also renowned for its artistry and craftsmanship. Kathmandu's heritage is not just a relic of the past, it is a living, breathing part of the city's identity. Both the local government and the people of Nepal continue to prioritize the preservation and promotion of these ancient sites, welcoming visitors from around the world to explore and appreciate the rich cultural and historical legacy of this beautiful land.
In the natural splendor, the silver-like peaks or the Himalayas glisten. Cradling a pond filled with milk in its lap, the Numbur Himal gleams. The Dudkunda, meaning a milk pond in Nepal's northeastern district of Solukhumbu, is truly the gateway to the paradise. The Numbur, Khatang and Karyalung mountains seem to smile at all times. Adorned with a garland of colorful flowers, the Dudkunda is overflowing as if filled with milk. The very sight defines nature at its best. Feels as if the Numbur mountain is giving motherly affection, holding the lake in its lap. The beauty is so serene and virgin that one fears not to stain it by touching. Indeed, Dudkunda is nature at its purest form. Located at Solu Dudkunda municipality, Taksindu, the natural paradise draws many visitors. No matter how many words are spent describing it, they all feel inadequate upon reaching there. The name itself is fulfilling and equally sacred.
हजारौं नरनारीहरू चाहिँ तीर्थयात्रीहरू दुधकुण्डमा जानुभएको छ। म पनि पुगेर आएँ। दुधकुण्ड असाध्यै पवित्र स्थल, यो हिमाल काखमा रहेको तीर्थस्थल हो, पुण्यस्थल हो, देवस्थल हो र त्यहाँ चाहिँ एकचोटि पुग्नै पर्दो रहेछ। त्यहाँ पुगेर जुन आनन्दको अनुभूति हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ कहीँ पनि पाइँदैन भन्ने चाहिँ महसुस भयो।
आनन्द लाग्यो, भएन मस्त लाग्यो। अनि यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ आएर तपस्या गरेर बस्नु जस्तो जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई।
एकदमै राम्रो लाग्यो हैन, प्रकृतिले दिएको रमणीय तीर्थस्थल हैन, जो कोही पनि एकचोटि चाहिँ यहाँ आएर एकचोटि भ्रमण गरेर दर्शन गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्यो।
Situated at an altitude of 4,531 meters above the sea level, Dudkunda is a sacred pilgrimage site of culture and nature. It feels like nature has blessed this place, and culturally, it has bound all castes and ethnicities in a thread of unity. There are various legends and sayings about Dudkunda. One argument is that the pond was formed during the creation of the Himalayas and was discovered by local sheep and yak herders. According to another legend, in ancient times, a yak would go to a stone where the pond is located and offer its milk every day. Later, the place was found to be a pond filled with milk, leading to its name, Dudkunda. This has also led to the belief that gods and goddesses reside here. There are 3 different routes to reach Dudkunda. One route is through Salleri, Faplu, Taksindu and Sasrabeni. Another route goes via Lukla, the gateway to the Everest, through Nunthala, Taksindu and Sahasrabeni. Nature has truly blessed the Solu Dudkunda municipality. Truly, just like the majestic Mount Everest, Dudkunda has the potential to be the destination for everyone in the days to come. It is a thread of unity among all castes and ethnicities. Just like the holy water of Dudkunda, it will become a pure and excellent destination.
Artificial intelligence has moved rapidly from being a futuristic concept to something deeply embedded in our everyday lives. From how we communicate and learn to how economies grow and governments make decisions. But as AI expands globally, it also raises important questions about inequality, inclusion, power, and responsibility. Today, we'll explore what AI really is, how it's being used across different societies, who benefits most from it, and what risks come with its rapid adoption. Most importantly, we'll discuss how AI can be shaped in ways that are fair, inclusive, and accountable for a world that is far from equal here on NTV World Insight. Please join me in welcoming our guest for today's program, Neil Chetri, who is a professor at University of North Carolina, Greensboro, and a research fellow at Kobe University. He holds a PhD from University of Rhode Island. Professor Chetri, welcome to NTV World Insight.
Thank you so much for having me, Saraji.
Well, to start with, in the simplest of terms, what is artificial intelligence?
Artificial intelligence is basically, simply put, it is about simulating human intelligence by machines. The way it works is basically machines exactly acquire different types of information. They understand the rules, how exactly all those different information is processed, and apply those rules to reach into some conclusion. So machines do that, actually simulating human behavior. And over time, they also self-correct and learn from feedback, so that the ultimate goal is to become exactly like human being. And okay, the ultimate goal is to become human, not only like human being, because they can process information much faster, maybe 100 times faster or even 1,000 times faster. But the main idea is to be like human being.
Across the world, across cultures and geographic region, how are we using artificial intelligence, knowingly or unknowingly?
Yeah, actually we are using artificial intelligence pretty much all the time. For example, in Nepal, let's say, most people have smartphone. If you are using smartphone, if you are writing me a text and there is some recommendation, okay, what the next word is possibly going to be, you don't have to really type, and the phone is suggesting you something, and that is artificial intelligence.
The predictive thing.
Exactly. And that is a simple artificial intelligence, not very sophisticated. If you are using Microsoft Word and typing things, and it will basically suggest some words or make some spelling errors, correct that, and that is also artificial intelligence. If you are using social media, then maybe what exactly the social media is recommending you, that is also artificial intelligence. If you are buying product from Amazon or other websites, and based on what exactly you did in the past and your certain type of profile, they recommend you something, that is also artificial intelligence. So more advanced use could be if you are driving a car and the future is self-driving car, and they also use artificial intelligence, and also pretty much used in different areas, like even farmers are making a lot of good use of artificial intelligence, and pretty much across all industries they are using artificial intelligence these days.
Do you think socio-economic factors come into play when it comes to accessing AI or using AI?
Of course, yeah. AI, when you talk about socio-economic factor, if we want to take advantage of AI, for example, we need advanced infrastructure. One example could be 5G, the 5th generation cellular infrastructure. And actually, Nepal currently doesn't have. And if we consider the low-income countries, only 4% of them have 5G. And if you go to high-income countries, 85% have. Of course, they are in a position to take advantage of that. And more educated people are more likely to use, and there is also a generational gap. Compared to older people, younger people are more likely to use. And if we compare, for example, in the university setting where I work, and actually students are more likely to use than teachers. And if you go to the corporate world, some departments like technology, innovation, R&D are more likely to use than other more traditional departments like those kind of human resources and marketing. And of course, there is a big gap if you go to more advanced countries and a higher proportion of population and more companies use, and if you go to more economies in the global south or developing countries, and a lower proportion of people use that. And also there is a gap between big companies and small companies, and pretty much all big companies take advantage of AI, but when you go to small and medium-sized enterprises and lower lower proportion use AI. So I mean there is difference across all different demographic profile of people, structure of companies, and global south, global north, and different corporate setting, and there is a lot of difference.
UNDP just released a report earlier this month, and they have warned AI could widen inequalities between countries because of unequal starting points in infrastructure, in skills, and also governance. How real do you think is the risk, and who should be responsible for managing it?
That is a real risk actually. Basically, if we look at all the big technology companies developing AI solutions, currently there are about 25,000 of them developing different types of solutions. But if you look at all of the ones that they are currently coming, they are from the Silicon Valley in the US. So pretty much all the US companies are dominating, followed by China. China has also companies like DeepSeek. So basically, it is coming from either developed countries like the US or some European countries like France, and there are also some initiatives in the Middle Eastern countries like the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia and China. So we are not really creating a lot of AI in Nepal, or we are not creating at all in countries like Nepal and India. And so it has also something to do, when you talk about AI, there are different generations of AI, and mainly everyone understands the second generation of AI, generative AI like ChatGPT. Specifically, that type of AI requires it is about kind of training the AI model in all the content which is available freely on the internet. And if you go to the internet, more than 60% of the content on the internet is in English language. So they automatically benefit those English language speaking people. And so most content, most of the AI models are in the English language. If you go to other languages like even Hindi, actually, Hindi has more than 500 million people speaking Hindi, but pretty much they cannot really find anything in Hindi written to train the things, to train the AI model. So that is viewed as low resource language. So basically, it is being created by the developed countries, more powerful companies like OpenAI or Microsoft or Amazon or Google or Chinese companies. And so basically, if we do not do anything, those technology powers might dominate. But at the same time, if we take action as soon as possible, countries like Nepal and less educated people, smaller companies, and let's say there is a small company, there is a big company. Big company is not using AI, not making good utilization of AI, but small company is doing. In that case, the small company can not only catch up, can even leapfrog the big companies. So the thing is, if we do not, the marginalized communities and developing countries or small companies or less educated people, if they do not take action right now, and definitely the gap between the rich and poor countries might be even wider. But if they take action, they might be able to narrow the gap. So it all depends on what all the actors are doing or likely to do in the future.
You very well touched upon the linguistic divide that we are witnessing in AI. But before jumping into that, you mentioned that countries like Nepal and India are lagging behind in progressing in AI sector. But when we look at India, it's naturally more advanced than us. They have more access. They are a bigger economy as well, emerging giants of Asia. So what do you think are the factors that you would put Nepal and India into the same bracket?
Right. It is mainly the linguistic thing. And they have a little bit more advantage. The reason is Hindi has 500 million people speaking that language, and that means it is commercially more attractive for Silicon Valley-based companies to develop model in Hindi language. So that is the advantage that has. And an example is the NVIDIA company, the graphic processing unit company based in the US, and they developed a Hindi language model collaborating with some of the big companies in India. And so actually there is no Hindi available in the internet to train them, because apparently even if they have to tweet and they have to do Facebook posting, and they apparently try to do in English in India. But what they did was they created synthetic Hindi, means they were just writing Hindi, many sentences of Hindi just to train the AI model. They could do that. And also there were Indian companies to work with NVIDIA to develop those models. So they have that advantage. But Nepal is a small country, and there are 124 different languages. And actually, apparently Nepali language, that is the a lot of people speak, but still that is first language for less than 50% of the population. And so it is not really commercially attractive to develop for the Silicon Valley-based companies. And of course, there are probably less linguistic resources in Nepali available than Hindi. And also there may not be a lot of big technology companies in Nepal. So one advantage they have, which Nepal doesn't have. Although both languages in India and languages in Nepal are kind of, they call low resource language. And actually in India, a lot of people speak English, but that is less than 10% of the population. 10% is a big number actually. Out of I don't know, 1.4 billion people, 10% becomes many times bigger than Nepal. So they have that advantage. Even those English speaking people can take advantage of that. But apparently in Nepal, those people whose first language is English is really small, maybe something like 100,000 or even smaller than that. So that advantage they have in India, which Nepal doesn't have, and economically a little at a higher position. So those are the differences.
When we talk about inclusive AI, many scholars and academicians have had the privilege of attending your presentations on inclusive AI. But apart from language and resources, what else factors can we consider in making AI inclusive?
Right, yeah. And just going to the basic of inclusion, and actually inclusion is a term when everyone talks about the diversity, equity and inclusion, and the basic idea in inclusion is no one is excluded and no one is marginalized. That is the basic idea in inclusion. And when we go to AI, the inclusion means everyone, all individuals, all communities have some role in the AI ecosystem. When you say AI ecosystem, we mean how AI is developed in hardware and software and how AI exactly used. Everyone has that. Everyone can benefit from. Everyone is protected by AI, and basically no one is excluded from the AI ecosystem. And that is the basic idea in inclusion. And there are many factors in AI. And so basically I have in the paper that I'm developing. Actually, this is a part of a book that I'm working on, AI for all. So AI should be for everyone, for farmers, for low-income group, for people working in the manufacturing. And so in the inclusion, I have basically identified 5 pillars, and one is if the AI is causing harm to the society or it is benefiting. That is the first pillar. And how affordable AI is for individuals and small companies. That is the second pillar. And if the AI really represents the values, cultural value or the linguistic values of the society, that is the third pillar. And if we can really own the AI, we have the agency power, we can act. That is agency and ownership is the fourth pillar. And the fifth pillar is if AI is basically, there is the transparency factor, accountability factor if something goes wrong, or the AI companies, they can be held responsible for the outcome from the AI. So there's basically 5 important things about inclusion that I have identified in my book that I'm working on currently.
Let us further explore on these 5 pillars. The first one you mentioned about harm.
Right, yeah.
What are the risks and harms, and in what ways can the users feel the effect or impact?
Right, harm basically means that I can give you an example. Probably example can illustrate that better. And so there was the AI developed by Elon Musk. The name was Grok, and it was being used in South Africa. And so basically, whatever the things from the knowledge of the community, and it is not included in AI, and that might harm the society rather than helping them. So when they ask in South Africa, ask any question to Grok, and it was saying this white genocide and people killing all these white people is a real thing, and that is racially motivated thing, and basically. And it is, and the AI was saying that my creator has asked me to tell that. And basically, it is not the knowledge that is coming from the South African community. It is kind of some type of knowledge being controlled by the Western power. And this type of thing might be harming the society because it is against the value system of the society. That may be one harm. And other types of harm could be like there is the type of misinformation and deepfakes, and people are making wrong decisions because of the deepfakes, and they may not be able to identify they are the real thing or they are just created by AI. And if people are taking wrong action based on that, that might harm the society. Or there might also be some type of bias. And so if you are using AI to screen people, and it might might exclude certain type of people from kind of some type of job. Or actually, if you use in the AI setting, and apparently depending on the words that people in different racial backgrounds might use different type of words in their essay or different type of assignments, and it is just penalizing certain type of words, and all those are harming people actually. So there are a lot of benefits definitely AI can create, and so I should not talk about harm only, and there are actually benefits, and there are all these applications being used by farmer, and they are basically the first generation of AI, not the second generation AI. There is one in plant village Nuru in Africa, and they can identify all these different diseases in plant, and there is another one, farmer chat, and there is also a lot of different types of AI being used by farmer, and they are being able to identify the disease, and it exactly tells farmer what to do, identifying that type of disease when they upload that on their cell phone. And so actually a lot of farmers are already benefiting and increasing their productivity of 40%, 70% in countries like Kenya. So that is benefit, but there are also harms that I have to mention. So AI should benefit and not harm the society to be inclusive. That is the idea in benefit and harm.
The example that you mentioned of the harm, it sounds very scary when AI is being used for misinformation and disinformation. Who is the onus on to combat this so that we do not face scarier consequences of it?
Right, and actually this is a really complicated area because where I live in the US, there is kind of like freedom to express, our First Amendment, and so whatever they are putting on the internet being created by AI, that is not necessarily illegal, and companies cannot necessarily control that. So basically, I think one area is that type of thing, and always technology, any type of technology develops faster than regulations, and regulators are always busy all over the world doing other things, not controlling all this, not really controlling. And if AI is really harming the society, and it is probably regulators' job and the politicians and the policymakers' job to make sure that AI does not harm the society, and they might have to collaborate with all the private companies, creators of AI, to make sure that it benefits the society rather than harming the society. But those types of regulations are not really there. And when you talk about, for example, deepfakes, and there are about this year, currently they say that there are at least 8 million deepfake videos circulating on the internet, but there are really no laws. And there are a little bit laws, and if they are using some type of relation in intimate relation, and someone is putting deepfake, and that is illegal in some countries, and if they are using some type of thing in election or political thing, that is illegal. And all other types of deepfakes are not currently illegal in many parts of the world. And actually, countries like Nepal do not really have any law to kind of act against deepfakes. So basically, basic thing is regulators and policymakers and the private companies and communities and all those should work together to minimize the harm in the long run.
Nepal government recently introduced AI policy, and it also envisions developing the country into an AI hub.
Right, yeah.
Do you think there's potential in there?
Yeah, it is. If the government does a lot of things, first thing is regulation. It is easy to write regulation. They can do in one day. You know, writing regulation is the easiest thing in the world. But the most important challenge is enforcing that, making sure that the regulations actually people can benefit from that, and the economy can benefit from that. And that is one thing. And regulations and policy in themselves do not really mean anything. But if it is possible to develop AI in Nepal, and it is, but there is a lot of work that is needed for that. Actually, Nepal currently doesn't have any AI data center. AI data center means there are a little bit data centers, not a lot, and they are real smaller ones. And AI data centers are the special type of data centers which are needed to develop AI and develop AI models. And also other types of data center could be when we ask ChatGPT or any type of AI, where exactly that information is processed. That is the data center for inferences, making inferences. And so Nepal doesn't have any of them currently. Without data center, we cannot really do a lot of things. And another challenge is Nepal has 124 different languages, and I mentioned earlier, and Nepali is spoken by a lot of people, but less than 50%. And actually, if we look at the most popular generative AI solution right now, which is the OpenAI ChatGPT, and ChatGPT supports, last time I checked, they support 95 different languages officially. Nepali is not one of them. You might ask in Nepali, and it might give some answer in Nepali, but it is not really officially supported. If you ask anything, like if you ask this Singhadarabar, or if you ask, I actually asked about my village, which is Baksila in Kotang district, and the answer ChatGPT was giving was really, it doesn't make any sense at all. So it is not trained in the, we are not just talking about the Nepali language, but we are talking about a lot of words and a lot of terms and a lot of things about Nepal. They are not trained on that one. So, and it is not officially supported. And if we go beyond Nepali, like the top 5 languages are, I think, Bhojpuri, and one is Tamang, and those languages are not supported by ChatGPT. And so in the long run, probably we should not depend on these Western countries, Silicon Valley based companies, and Nepal should be able to do something to develop Nepali language AI model, so not using OpenAI ChatGPT, which is not really accurate, doesn't work very well in Nepal. So that is the first step, creating data set and kind of working with these AI companies, developing AI startups, encouraging them and developing those could be important. And also another thing could be, personally, I think, and I have talked with many people, that AI should be required in grade 1, grade 2, 10, and no one should graduate without learning how AI works. And AI doesn't have only the positive sides, and AI has a lot of negative sides. And so rather than pretending that AI does not exist in the world and everyone has to accept that the fact that AI is here, AI will not go away, and how to make best use of AI. So it should be required in the curricula from schools to colleges to universities, and all these educators must be trained in AI. So those are some of the important things for Nepal to do, to develop, like taking advantage of AI.
Mm-hmm. I think open platforms like ChatGPT and DeepSeek are accessible to so many people, and we are using it on an everyday basis.
Right.
Do you think there are any cognitive impact of using AI so much, or depending on AI so much?
Right. Yeah. They say that there are actually, and but I think the way that our cognitive thing in the past. Like different types of cognitive. One of the important things they talk about is in university, in educational setting, is they call critical thinking. So, and the claim many people are making is that critical thinking, and people do not have that type of thinking. But I think critical thinking these days is different. The meaning of critical thinking is different. So critical thinking right now is to figure out what exactly AI can do, what are the limitations of AI, what is AI's role, what is my role as a human being, how to work together with AI to achieve whatever I want to achieve my goal. So that is the most important thing. And maybe some part of cognitive system might not be working, but other parts might be better. That is the thing. Some part definitely is declining, but other part of cognitive thing will be improving. But overall, I don't think that people will be really losing any cognitive power, just using different part of brain probably, because we have to get work done in a different way compared to the past.
We have gone through many stages of technological advancements to reach in this era of AI.
Exactly.
What's next?
Oh yeah, the next is, I think we have the the predictive AI, as you were saying, AI, they have been doing since 1940s, and they did a lot of things, and it was not possible to develop that time AI because we need very powerful computers, and all those things did not exist, and we have kind of powerful computers at a very low price. Anyone can develop, that is one thing. But the most popular AI that everyone is talking about right now is the second generation generative AI, and already there are kind of a lot of applications of the third generation, which is called the agentic AI. So agentic AI is something that basically it acts autonomously, and if you just give your goal, whatever you want to achieve, and the goal might require, let's say, 1,000 different tasks. And right now, like generative AI, like ChatGPT, can perform only one task. But the agentic AI, basically, if you tell the AI your goal and 1,000 tasks it figures out, and it can create 1,000 different AI agents, and there will be one coordinating agent which coordinates the activities of all of those things and achieves the goal. That is not even future. In some areas they already exist. Actually, in cybersecurity, there is a company in Israel, Twin, and it has it was an employee they call the Alex. Alex is a virtual employee, and it is smarter than most of the human cybersecurity employee. And you can hire Alex at a very, very low cost compared to hiring a kind of human cybersecurity personnel. And so basically, that Alex can identify any threat that your company is facing, can figure out all the different things it needs to do, can create agents to perform those specific tasks, and can take action. And actually, in many areas, like in healthcare, there is this company known as Hippocratic AI in California, and it has a lot of different agents, it has different nurses, and basically many hospitals can employ at a very, very low cost performing all those different things. And so in marketing, there is a company like Salesforce, and Salesforce has a lot of these. Salesforce says that it will have billion different agents working different sales and marketing functions in the future, and Microsoft also has some kind of 11 different agents and agentic AI solutions. So agentic AI already is here, but there are some limitations. The data should be of very good quality, which is not the case, and basically a high degree of autonomy is not really possible. And there is autonomy, but companies do not want to give a high degree of autonomy. Maybe in the future, you and I may not be doing shopping anymore. Basically, we might have shopping agent, and the shopping agent will have all our credit card information. It has all the information, and if you need a new pair of shoes, automatically it knows your preferences, it knows your brand, and basically it looks at millions of pieces of information about that brand, and it will order for you. And basically, and that thing is already agentic AI Actually, it is already here, and so although not widespread in many different areas, so it is already here. And actually, going further than that, and just before going that, I might have to mention one thing that. Right now, this year, only US companies are investing about $400 billion in AI solution, and in 2028, companies worldwide are estimated to invest about $3 trillion only in data center, because all this information that I was talking about, they have to store that information, they have to analyze, they have to process in data center. So it is real thing. And actually one thing is, no AI company is really making any money, and so everyone is losing. And what is the ultimate goal? Ultimate goal for all these companies in whoever becomes the first one to create, superhuman, super intelligence, or they call and even before that, they call the artificial general intelligence. And the idea in artificial general intelligence is, it is exactly like human being, all the things human being can do, all the cognitive things that human being do, and the AI will have, like a human being will be able to process information, analyze information, feel and evaluate different sources of information, create new things. It can do all the things that human being can do. Not only that, faster, because already there are many AI solutions that can process and that can do things 100 times faster than human being. But they can do only in one narrow area. Maybe they might be doing some robotics thing in factory, or ChatGPT, or maybe there might be AI system only for agriculture, AI system only for manufacturing, only narrow area focusing on. So the future will be exactly like human being, but like thousands of human beings, and they can perform. That is the artificial general intelligence. That is the goal. And people do not agree. I don't know when exactly that will come. Maybe 20 years, 30 years, or 40 years. That is a little far. But actually, the agentic AI, the third generation, is already here. Many companies are already using that, and it is already kind of being more and more widespread among many different companies.
Mm-hmm. While you talk about all these advancements in the generation of AI, artificial intelligence, and then super intelligence as well, there's also, apart from the benefits, there's also a fear of doom and gloom, maybe.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that is a real thing. It is possible, actually. So basically, human being creating different types of AI, more advanced AI, just like human being. And not only that, the smart AIs will be creating their own AIs. And who knows, maybe those AIs could be, and they can take action that human beings have never thought of, and that is possible. And for that, actually, again, going back to the earlier thing that I mentioned, maybe the regulators and the AI companies, and the regulators, not only the national regulators, but all these international institutions like the UN and all those have to work together. Actually, local communities who are developing the AI solutions, they might have to work together and develop some ethical thing. And right now, actually, what is ethical, what is unethical, the standard has not been really developed, and so they have to work together to make sure that we can minimize the harm from the potential harm from the AI. So that is really important. That, as you mentioned earlier, about the importance of collaboration.
Professor Chhetri, thank you so much for being on the show. It was lovely having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, as AI continues to evolve, it is clear that its impact will extend far beyond technology, shaping economies, cultures, languages, and access to knowledge itself. The challenge ahead is not just about building more powerful systems, but about making thoughtful choices around governance, inclusion, and accountability. Whether AI becomes a force that deepens divides or one that helps bridge them will depend on the decisions we make today. Thank you for staying with us here on the program. Until next time. Kathmandu has long been known as a place where natural beauty, history, culture, and spirituality come together in remarkable harmony. Rising above the western side of the valley stands Swayambhunath, one of Nepal's most revered and ancient sites. Many simply call it Swayambhu. For countless generations, it has been a sanctuary of spiritual devotion, a place where the first light of morning touches the prayer flags and where monks and devotees begin their day in meditation and worship. Swayambhu is cherished by Buddhists from all over the world, yet it holds equal significance for many Hindus. This shared reverence creates a rare sense of unity within its sacred grounds. The origins of Swayambhunath stretch back at least 2.5 millennia. Inscriptions and centuries-old statues found throughout the site testify to its long-standing presence and its profound cultural importance. The stupa itself is one of Nepal's traditional religious landmarks, crowned by the serene eyes of the Buddha that gaze out across all 4 directions. These eyes are regarded as a message of compassion, awareness, and peace for all beings. For Buddhists, the stupa and its symbols become a guide toward understanding the teachings of the Buddha. For Hindu visitors, the temples and images of deities within the complex hold deep spiritual meaning of their own.
In 1989, Swayambhunath was formally recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, an honor that elevated Nepal's cultural identity on the global stage and helped protect this extraordinary place for future generations. The surroundings of Swayambhu offer many places of interest. Pilgrims and travelers often find themselves captivated by the calm atmosphere and the panoramic views over the Kathmandu Valley. The architecture of the complex reflects a graceful blend of Nepali and Tibetan influences. The stupa follows ancient Nepali design traditions, while the monasteries and retreat houses that surround it reflect elements of Tibetan craftsmanship. These two styles together give Swayambhunath a distinctive character found nowhere else. Preserving Swayambhu is not only a religious responsibility, it is an effort guided equally by historical and cultural commitment. The temples, statues, and inscriptions within the complex carry stories that span centuries. The main stupa, crowned by the four compassionate eyes, remains the heart of the site. Monks gather each day to meditate and study. Within these halls, elaborate paintings and sacred sculptures portray episodes from the life of the Buddha and remind visitors of the spiritual traditions that continue to flourish here. The entrance to Swayambhunath features a gate designed to convey purity and reverence. Sculptures and painted figures on the gate reveal the guiding ideals of Buddhist philosophy. Scattered around the grounds are ancient inscriptions that preserve the history of the land. Statues of various Buddhas stand alongside images of Parvati and Shiva, creating a space where cultural diversity and shared devotion coexist with harmony. Swayambhunath is one of Nepal's most visited destinations. Its landscapes, spiritual gravity, and cultural richness draw people from around the world. Each year, Millions of visitors, both local and international, climb the steps leading toward the stupa. Their presence contributes greatly to Nepal's tourism economy and to the livelihoods of those who live and work nearby. Quake of 2015 brought significant destruction to Swayambhunath. Several structures collapsed and many priceless sculptures were damaged. The impact on the site's cultural heritage was deeply felt throughout the country. Yet, the response to this tragedy revealed the strength of the community. Local residents, government agencies, cultural experts, monks, and international organizations came together to restore the complex. The rebuilding process became more than a physical reconstruction. It became a spiritual effort guided by devotion and the hope of preserving peace and compassion for future generations. Today, visitors find improved pathways, restored shrines, and safe spaces from which to explore the site. Nearby, guest houses and small hotels offer comfortable places to stay for those who wish to spend more time experiencing the surroundings. For many, Swayambhu is not only a religious landmark but a symbol of introspection and inner calm. The peaceful environment encourages reflection. The sacred presence of the stupa gives visitors a sense of quiet strength. The eyes of the Buddha seem to guide those who come seeking balance, clarity, or a moment of stillness. As the sun rises, its light glimmers on the golden pinnacle of the stupa. And as the night falls, the view of Kathmandu from this hilltop feels almost otherworldly, as though the city below is touched by a gentle glow. Swayambhunath continues to stand as a reminder of the spiritual harmony that has shaped Nepal for centuries. It invites every visitor to pause, to breathe, and to discover a deeper part of themselves.
Human beings have made drastic progress in the sector of handicrafts with the development of civilization from the Stone Age until the 21st century. These include and are not limited to works of art, sculptures, wood and metal crafts. These handicrafts have also found religious, historic, cultural and archaeological acceptance and significance. Religious texts have identified the attraction of human settlements in the mountainous region of Nepal, which has always remained an independent sovereign nation. Ramapithecus human remains found in Butwal of West Nepal clarifies that human settlement had begun in Nepal more than 10 million years ago. We find historic references of works of handicrafts made by those living in this region. Such Nepali handicrafts are artistic and useful, therefore also successful in gaining international appreciation. Instead of the modern handicrafts, Nepal is well introduced in the international community by its traditional and historic works of art and craft. Millions of tourists who visit Nepal every year observe, study and relish the traditional handicrafts available at religious shrines. The high-quality woods brought from local forests are seasoned before being carved. Nepali woodcrafts are not only popular inside the country, but also have a demand abroad and therefore are exported. In addition to sculptures of gods and goddesses, artistic doors and windows, among other furniture, are made from wood in Nepal. Best examples of Nepali woodcraft can be taken as the artistic carvings at palaces, temples and other religious shrines in Kathmandu, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur. The 6th century woodcraft present at Rudravarna Mahavihar in Okubahal of Lalitpur is considered the oldest. Nepali woodcraft continues to thrive with the creativity, dedication and effort of trained artists. Artist Punyaraj Tuladhar, popular around the world, shares his experience. Lalitpur is popular around the world for its metal craft in Nepal. Works of metal craft produced here had a great demand in countries including Bhutan, Japan, China and European nations. Metal statues are developed using two methods in Nepal: repose art and lost wax process, both widely popular around the world. Repose art is a metalworking technique in which a malleable metal, silver, copper and brass among others, is shaped by hammering from the reverse side to create a design in low relief. Small sheets of metal are cut based on required measurement to form different organs of statues before being welded together. Designs and patterns are then carved into the structure. Gold is plated in some works such as metalcraft as well. Such metal sheets are also used in the roof of temples and other religious shrines. Lost wax process is the technique by which a metal sculpture, often silver, gold, brass or bronze, is cast from an original sculpture of wax made of honeycomb. Molten metal is poured into a mold that has been created by means of a wax model. Once the mold is made, the wax model is melted and drained away. In the second phase, the metal sculpture is cleaned with different machines or equipment. After filling of the sculpture, it is then plated with gold or painted with colors based on the requirements. Most of such sculptures are found in Buddhist and Hindu religious shrines. Globally recognized senior artist Krodh Kala Shiromani Kalu Kumale shares his experience. Existing sculptures present in Nepal and at museums abroad prove that the works of sculptures have a long history in the country. Sculptures made using the lost wax process have a huge demand in China and other countries and continue to be exported. Okubahal, Nagbahal, Haugal and Tangal, among other places, are the pioneers in metal craft. Likewise, metal crafts of Tansen in Palpa, Chainpur and Bhojpur are also popular around the world. silver filigree art of Nepal is internationally recognized. The genre, which began during the Lichavi era and grew in the Malla era, is considered quality work of art of Nepal. Attractive shapes are made from metals including silver, and precious stones are then used to create artistic objects. It is believed that works of filigree art were the first ones to be purchased by tourists. Artists speak of a huge demand of quality Nepali filigree art in the international market. Senior artist Dilliraj Shakya shares his experience. Stone art is taken as a significant category of handicrafts. Equipment including hammers is used in development of beautiful sculptures. This form of art had begun with the development of different kinds of weapons. They are strong and durable and therefore remain intact. Most of the sculptures of gods and goddesses are made from stones. Likewise, sculptures of animals, stone taps, temples, religious symbols and goods used in daily lives are also made from stone. Most of such sculptures are made from the stones found in local hills, including Hattiban, Machegao, Tika Bhairav, Godavari and Kharpa, among others. Senior artist Dharmaraj Shakya says that Nepal's stone art has a unique identity. Of the stone sculptures found so far, a sculpture of King Jaya Varma found in Harigaon and currently conserved at National Museum in Chhaoni is considered to be the oldest historic sculpture. Likewise, sculptures in Changu installed by King Mandev, another found in Tilganga near Pashupati, a sculpture of Vishnu Vikrant in Lazimpat, and the one at Budhanil Kantha are also considered historic. Sculpture of Birupaksha Kirateshwar Mahadev at Pashupati Aryaghat, Vishwaroop at Changu, Garud Sayan Vishnu sculpture, Palanchuk Bhagwati, Gazalakshmi of Lalitpur, Chashal Hiti and Krishna Mandir of Patan, among others, are considered the best stone sculptures of Nepal. Terracotta sculptures and masks, among other artworks, are made from clay. Terracotta works are thought to have been in existence in Nepal from a long time. According to historians and archaeologists, terracotta works found during a recent excavation administered by the Department of Archaeology were from the 2nd century BC. In recent practices, terracotta works are made before the development of metal sculptures. Different goods used in daily life are made from terracotta works. In addition to the sculptures of religious figures, products such as cups and plates, among other utensils, are also made from terracotta technique, while they are sold in domestic and foreign markets as well. Artists who have been working with terracotta for ages live in Thimi of Bhaktapur, Dang and Kapilvastu. Popular artist Gopal Kalapremi says the creativity and dedication of Nepali artists has been uplifting terracotta works in and outside of Nepal. Pauba art is made in the Kathmandu Valley and is considered as a traditional art form. This form of art is known as Thanga in Tibet. In Tibetan language, documentation and archives of gods and goddesses is called Thanku or Thanga. In this form of art, color from natural minerals is used to paint the pictures of religious figures on cloth. The large figure of main god and goddesses is placed at the center, while remaining gods and goddesses are placed in relatively smaller figures at the other parts. The background of this form of art includes different kinds of flowers, clouds, trees, and birds and animals. An artwork of Ratnasambhav Buddha conserved at the County Museum in Los Angeles of the United States of America is considered to be the oldest Paubha art, which was developed in the 13th century. The Amitabha Buddha art of the 13th century, also at the County Museum alongside Vishnu Mandala of 1420 and the 19th century's Sahas Bhujalokeshwar saved at the National Museum in Chhaoni, are considered to be Nepal's best Paubha artworks. The demand of Paubha artworks is increasing in Nepal and the foreign market. Popular and senior artist Lok Chitrakar says continuous efforts of talented artists has helped increase the popularity of Nepali Paubha art. Nepali handicrafts have established a significant position in the international community for their traditional, religious, social, historic and archaeological richness. Nepal Academy of Fine Arts has been conducting significant tasks in regards to conservation, promotion and development of Nepali handicrafts. Active involvement of experienced, skilled and talented artists, along with their devotion and sacrifices, have been rejuvenating Nepali handicrafts and helping establish a unique and superior identity of Nepal in the international community.
U.S. President Donald Trump has reiterated his assertion that the United States needs Greenland for national security, escalating tensions with Denmark after his appointment over special envoy to the Arctic island sparked a fresh diplomatic dispute. Trump's comments followed criticism from Copenhagen, which has rejected any suggestion that Greenland, a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark, could be a subject to U.S. control.
We need Greenland for national security. Not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need it for national security. We have to have it.
Danish officials meanwhile say the appointment of a U.S. envoy focused on Greenland was unwelcome and reaffirmed that the island is not for sale. The White House has argued that Greenland's strategic location in the Arctic makes it vital to the U.S. security interests, particularly as global competition in the region intensifies due to climate change and increased military and commercial activity. Trump has previously floated the idea of the United States acquiring Greenland, proposals that were formally dismissed by Danish and Greenlandic leaders. The latest remarks risk further straining relations between Washington and Copenhagen, a longtime NATO ally, as diplomatic exchanges over the issue continue. Syrian government forces and the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces have agreed to stop fighting in the northern city of Aleppo after a wave of attacks left at least 2 civilians dead and several injured. On Monday, Syria's state news agency cited the Ministry of Defense as saying the Army's General Command issued an order to stop targeting the SDF's fighters after the deadly clashes erupted during a visit by Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan. Fidan said that the SDF, which controls swaths of northeastern Syria, appeared to have no intention of honoring its pledge to integrate into the state's armed forces by an agreed year-end deadline. The US-backed SDF is mostly made up of People's Protection Units YPG, which Turkey considers a terrorist organization due to its links to Kurdistan Workers' Party PKK in Turkey. PKK is a designated terrorist group by the United States and the European Union. In March, the PKK announced it would give up armed struggle after a call from its jailed leader Abdullah Öcalan. Thousands of people were killed in the 4 decades of armed rebellion against the Turkish state. The SDF says it has issued instructions to stop responding to attacks by Syrian government forces following de-escalation contacts. Under a March agreement signed by the SDF and Damascus, the Kurdish-led force was to merge with the new Syrian army, but details were left vague and implementation has stalled. Pakistan received 3 bids in a televised auction for state carrier Pakistan International Airlines PIA as the government attempts to push through a long-delayed reform demanded by the International Monetary Fund. The auction is Pakistan's second televised attempt at selling the flag carrier after a bungled process last year drew only a solitary bid, derailing what would have been Pakistan's first major privatization in nearly 2 decades. Under the transactional structure, the government is open to selling up to 100% of PIA, with any stake above 75% subject to a 15% premium. Last year, the government set a minimum price of $305 million for a 60% stake, but received a single bid of $36 million from a real estate developer, which declined to raise its offer, citing concerns over PIA's finances and significant leakages. The airline sale forms part of a broader privatization push under Pakistan's IMF bailout, which also includes plans to offload stakes in state-owned banks, power distribution companies, and other loss-making enterprises as the government seeks to curb fiscal drain and restore investor confidence. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and his daughter Ju-ae toured a newly completed mountain resort in the northern city of Samjeon, according to footage aired by state broadcaster KCTV, showcasing what the government described as a symbol of national development and tourism ambition. Leader Kim is seen inspecting hotels and facilities at the resort, dipping his hand into a hot and testing the firmness of beds while offering on-the-spot guidance to officials and designers. Ju-ae, who has increasingly appeared alongside her father at public events, accompanied him throughout the inspection. State media said the resort forms part of a broader redevelopment of Samjeon, a city near Mount Paektu that holds strong symbolic importance in North Korean ideology. The visit comes as North Korea continues to highlight construction and tourism projects despite ongoing international sanctions and economic constraints. Analysts say such highly publicized inspections are intended to project stability, modernization, and continuity of leadership both domestically and abroad. The Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency says the 8th launch of the S-3 rocket has ended in failure due to a problem with the second stage engine. The rocket was carrying the Michibiki No. 5 satellite for the Japanese version of a global positioning system. It lifted off from the Tanegashima Space Center in southwestern Japan's Kagoshima Prefecture shortly before 11 a.m. on Monday. Japan's aerospace agency says the rocket's second stage engine stopped burning earlier than planned and the satellite could not be put into its planned orbit. It is investigating the cause of the problem. This is the second failed launch of the S-3 rocket since March 2023 when the first one failed. The 8th launch was originally planned for December 7. It was postponed after a malfunction was found in the rocket's equipment. The launch was pushed back to December 17 but was cancelled at the last minute due to a problem with a device at the launch pad. One year after South Korea's deadliest year-end disaster, bereaved families say they have lost confidence in the official investigation and continue to demand clearer answers about the cause of the crash. Relatives of the victims say they harbor deep mistrust toward authorities, citing what they describe as a lack of transparency and slow progress in the probe. At the center of their concerns is a critical unresolved question: why a concrete block was positioned at the end of the runway, despite international aviation safety guidelines that typically require clear runway overrun areas. Families argue the structure may have contributed to the cause of the crash and say investigators have failed to adequately explain who approved its installation and whether safety standards were breached. Some have called for an independent review of the investigation and greater disclosure of findings. Government officials have said that the inquiry is ongoing, but critics say the passage of time has only heightened frustration and grief among those who lost loved ones as they continue to seek accountability and assurances that similar tragedies will be prevented in the future. A motorbike stunt has been staged on the frozen surface of Lake Sildir, located between the eastern Turkish provinces of Kars and Ardahan. Turkey's snowboarding champion Süleyman Atli performed the show using a cross motorbike fitted with spiked tires, riding at speed across the ice in sub-zero conditions. The demonstration highlighted both the extreme winter conditions and the technical challenge of riding on a frozen lake. Atli said his motorbike was equipped with around 1,000 metal studs to maintain grip, adding that he visits Lake Sildir every year to carry out different projects. As weight loss medications such as Ozempic gain widespread popularity across the United States, segments of the restaurant industry are beginning to adjust in response, introducing smaller portion sizes to accommodate diners reporting reduced appetites. Originally prescribed to treat type 2 diabetes, Ozempic and similar GLP-1 medications have surged in off-label use for weight loss, reshaping consumer eating habits. Restaurant operators say some customers now prefer lighter meals, share plates more frequent, or leave food unfinished, patterns that have prompted menu and portion reevaluations. Several chains and independent restaurants have started offering half portions, scaled-down entries, or expanded small plate options. Industry analysts note that the changes are not only aimed at diners using appetite-suppressing medications, but also reflect broader trends towards portion control, cost sensitivity, and reduced food waste. While the long-term impact on restaurant revenue remains uncertain, operators say flexibility is becoming essential as consumer behavior evolves. The shift underscores how pharmaceutical trends are increasingly influencing sectors beyond healthcare, including food service and hospitality. British street artist Banksy has unveiled a new mural in central London, reigniting public interest amid speculation over a second near-identical work that has appeared elsewhere in the city. The black and white mural, painting on the side of an old building in the Bayswater area, depicts two figures believed to be children wearing winter hats and Wellington boots and pointing towards the sky. As many with Banksy's works, the artist has not issued an immediate explanation of its meaning. An almost identical image has also appeared several miles away beneath the multi-story Centrepoint building near Tottenham Court Road. In that version, the two children are shown gazing upward at the surrounding skyscrapers, prompting debate over whether the second piece is also an original Banksy or a reproduction inspired by the first. Banksy later confirmed the Bayswater mural on his official social media channels, a move typically used to authenticate his works. The appearance of the murals has drawn crowds of onlookers and renewed discussion about urban space, childhood, and the changing cityscape, recurring themes in the artist's work. Hundreds of visitors returned to Iguaçu Falls in southern Brazil after the site reopened following a temporary closure linked to the Mercosur summit, according to local authorities. The waterfall system, which straddles the border between Brazil and Argentina and is considered the largest in the world by volume, had been closed for security reasons during the regional trade blocs meeting, which drew heads of state and senior officials to the area. Tourists began arriving soon after access was restored, with park officials reporting steady foot traffic along viewing platforms overlooking the falls. Iguaçu National Park is one of Brazil's most visited natural attractions and a key driver of the local tourism economy. Authorities say operations has returned to normal and emphasize that the closure was a precautionary measure tied to the summit rather than other concerns. Around 3,300 runners dressed as Santa Claus and elves took part in a festive 5-kilometer race in Barcelona, marking the start of the city's Christmas celebrations. An estimated 2,500 participants wore Santa costumes, while about 800 dressed as elves, running through central streets as crowds gathered to watch and cheer. The annual event, now a regular fixture on Barcelona's holiday calendar, combines sport with seasonal spectacle and attracts both amateur runners and families. City officials say the race aims to promote physical activity while boosting the festive atmosphere ahead of Christmas. Organizers say the proceeds from the event will support local charitable causes, a tradition that has helped sustain strong participation in recent years.
कसैले पनि अब व्हीलचेयरमै चाहिँ बन्जी गर्नुभएको छैन।
अहिले चाहिँ आई एम भेरी एक्साइटेड।
रमाइलो आउने।
यस 2 1 बन्जी।
डिफ्रेन्ट आइडियाहरू हुन्छ हाम्रो, जस्तै अब खुट्टामा लगाएर नर्मल जम्प गर्नुपर्ने, उहाँहरूले चाहिँ हामी बडीमा मात्रै लगाएर जम्प गराउँछौँ।
लेट्स गो।
This is the story of Dilip Sapkota and Sisir Dahal, two wheelchair daredevils who challenged their physical limitations by jumping nearly 200 meters. They weren't just attempting a bungee jump, they were making history by attempting a bungee jump in their wheelchair. The location was the famous The Last Resort, offering adventurous thrill over Bhotekosi River in Sindhupalchok district of central Nepal. From the launch pad, a suspension bridge over the river, a free fall 160 meters down the gorge. This bridge had been the launch pad for the courageous and adventure seekers for years. But on this day, the jump was not just about adrenaline rush, but also about defiance, about breaking the barriers. Dilip, a fierce advocate for inclusive tourism, has spent years pushing boundaries, paragliding, ziplining, even bungee jumping without a chair.
म अपङ्गता भइसके पछाडी म आफूलाई कसरी रिफ्रेश बनाउने त, म आफै चाहिँ कसरी ह्याप्पी हुन्छु भनेर आफैले आफैलाई बुझ्दाखेरि चाहिँ मैले घुम्दा ट्राभलहरू गर्दा एडभेन्चरहरू गर्दा अझ म बढी आफै खुसी भएको पाएँ। अनि त्यस पछाडी चाहिँ मलाई बन्जी, मैले प्याराग्लाइडिङहरू गरेँ। प्याराग्लाइडिङहरू गरिसके पछाडी बन्जी पनि गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने लाग्यो अनि मैले बन्जी गरेँ। बन्जी गरेपछि होइन अब यो बन्जीलाई पनि एकचोटि व्हीलचेयरमा पनि बन्जी गर्नुपर्छ हैन। नेपालमा म चाहिँ अपङ्गता भएका साथीहरूले चाहिँ एडभेन्चरकोमा चाहिँ अलिक पछाडी देखिने, उहाँहरू खासै त्यति धेरै एडभेन्चरहरू गर्नलाई त्यस्तो खेलहरू खेल्नलाई डराउने, यस्तो हुन्छ उस्तो हुन्छ भन्ने उहाँहरूको चाहिँ मेन्टालिटी पनि थियो र त्यो मेन्टालिटीलाई पनि चिर्नुपर्छ। मैले यो सकिन्छ, हामीले पनि खेल्न सक्छौँ, गर्न सक्छौँ र एउटा चाहिँ समावेशी पर्यटनलाई पनि यो एउटा वकालत पनि हुन्छ। नेपाल सरकार लगायत सम्बन्धित निकायलाई यो वकालतको पनि एडभोकेसी पनि गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने उद्देश्य राखेर मैले चाहिँ बन्जी गरेको।
Sisir, an agricultural entrepreneur living with spinal paralysis, has turned his challenges into advocacy.
म अनेस्टली भन्नुपर्दा यो चाहिँ पुरै अनप्लान्ड नै हो हैन। जति पनि मेरो लाइफमा म जति पनि एडभेन्चर अथवा उ गर्छु हैन, त्यति धेरै प्लान गरेर चाहिँ गर्दिम भनेपछि गर्दिम भन्ने टाइपले चाहिँ यसको लागि चाहिँ म विशेष धन्यवाद हाम्रो दिलीप सरलाई म दिन चाहन्छु है। उहाँले मलाई थाहा नै नदिकन ल आज जाम भनेर भन्नुभयो। मैले आज भोलि हामी बन्जी जम्प गर्दैछौँ भनेर हिजो दोलालघाट आइपुगेपछि, हामी काठमाडौँबाट हिँडेको मान्छे दोलालघाट आइपुगेपछि थाहा पाएको। सो अब गरौँ न त, आइसक्यो भनेर चाहिँ हैन एउटा अनुभव पनि हुन्छ लाइफमा। हामी जस्तो अपाङ्गता भएको व्यक्तिले पनि गर्न सकिन्छ है भन्ने टाइपले हैन। अनि त्यहाँबाट अरूलाई मोटिभेट गर्नलाई साथसाथै अब आफ्नो पनि एउटा रिफ्रेसमेन्टको लागि चाहिँ अब आज हामी बन्जी जम्प गर्न जाँदैछौँ।
Together, the goal was clear: to inspire thousands and redefine what people with disabilities can achieve. A wheelchair bungee jump was no ordinary feat. It demanded innovation, precision, and absolute commitment. The team designed a secure rigging system, checked every bolt and knot, ensuring the wheelchairs and harnesses could withstand the extreme forces.
सेटअप अब खासै त्यस्तो डिफ्रेन्ट त होइन, उहाँहरूको अब स्पेसल अलिकति समस्या भएर त्यो अनुसारको सेफ तरिकाले गर्ने अर्को डिफ्रेन्ट आइडियाहरू हुन्छ हाम्रो। जस्तै अब खुट्टामा लाएर नर्मली जम्प गर्नुपर्ने, उहाँले चाहिँ हामी बडीमा मात्रै लाएर जम्प गराउँछौँ। सो खुट्टामा चाहिँ केही पनि प्रेसर पर्दैन, ढाडमा पनि कम प्रेसर पर्छ। सो त्यसरी गर्दा चाहिँ उहाँलाई एकदम कम्फर्टेबल हुन्छ। अनि प्लस अब उहाँले अब तल गएर तान्नुपर्ने हुक गर्नुपर्ने कुराहरू हुन्छ, सकेसम्म उहाँहरूले ट्राई गर्नु भएन भने हामी एकजना रेस्क्यु स्ट्यान्ड बाई हुन्छ। अनि त्यसको लागि चाहिँ हामी अलिक प्रिपेयर गरेर गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ। अब सेफ्टीको हिसाबले अलिकति डिफ्रेन्ट तरिका चाहिँ अपनाउनु पर्यो हामीले।
This was not a stunt, it was proof that adventure can be made accessible.
34औं अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय अपाङ्गता दिवस हो। सो यो अपाङ्गता दिवसकै दिनमा चाहिँ केही एउटा चाहिँ एडभेन्चर गरौँ हैन। अब कसैले पनि अब व्हिलचेयरमै चाहिँ बन्जी गर्नुभएको छैन, त्यसको लागि पनि एउटा चाहिँ पहिलोचोटि गर्दै हेर अरू साथीहरूलाई पनि एउटा चाहिँ इन्करेज गरौँ भन्ने चाहना हो खास।
At the edge of the platform, silence fell. Dilip rolled forward first. The count began.
Happy International Disability Day, all of you.
A symbol of confinement transformed into a vessel of freedom, probably the first ever wheelchair bungee jump in Nepal.
Promax bungee! खासै अहिले चाहिँ पुरा म नर्मल चाहिँ एकदम चिल भएको छु हैन। अब यहाँ हामफाल्दाखेरि चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ, म हामफालिसकेपछि अनुभव सुनाउँछु। अहिले चाहिँ आई एम भेरी एक्साइटेड। आई एम गोइङ टु डु समथिङ फर माइसेल्फ हैन। आई एम गोइङ टु डु माई फर्स्ट बन्जी अफ माई लाइफ। So I'm very excited.
Then came Cecir's turn. With equal determination, he embraced the drop.
Well, let's go.
His leap cemented the moment, not a solo feat, but a shared victory.
Yes. उहाँले आर यु रेडी भन्नुभयो। मैले ठिक छ म रेडी भने मैले आँखा चिम्म गरिदिएँ। अनि त्यसपछि ठ्याक्कै उहाँले 1 2 3 जम्प भन्नुभयो। उहाँले पुस गरिदिनु भयो मलाई। म पुस गरेको आँखा चिम्मको चिम्म तल पुगेपछि ठ्याक्क त्यो डोरीले तान्छ नि, तानेर माथि आएपछि त्यो समय चाहिँ मैले यस्तो फिल गरेँ कि म बाँचेँ हैन। मसँग अब चाहिँ सबै चिजहरू मसँग फेरि पनि छ र मलाई चाहिँ एकदमै आनन्द त्यो टाइमको त्यो 2 सेकेन्ड 3 सेकेन्डको एउटा चाहिँ ह्याप्पिनेस, एउटा त्यो रिफ्रेस, एउटा त्यो फिलले चाहिँ एकदमै ह्याप्पी दियो क्या मलाई। इनर्जी भित्रदेखि मसँग भइरहेको सिद्धिरहेको एउटा चाहिँ इनर्जीलाई ठ्याक्क दियो। त्यो झर्दाखेरिको चाहिँ मेरो माइन्ड पुरै रिसेट भइदियो जस्तो भयो क्या। केही पनि छैन, म एकदमै निलो, एकदम निल, मसँग केही पनि छैन, रित्तियो सकियो। मैले सबै चिज छोडिदिएर म झरिसकेको थिएँ, हाम फालिसकेको थिएँ। तर पुगेर ठ्याक्क तानेर ल्याउँदाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो एउटा मुभमेन्ट चाहिँ मेरो लाइफको चाहिँ एकदम इन्जोयफुल मुभमेन्ट हो, जसले चाहिँ मलाई चाहिँ आजको दिनसम्म अझ धेरै उत्प्रेरणाहरू जगाएको एउटा मुभमेन्ट हो। त्यो मुभमेन्ट चाहिँ मेरो लागि एकदम मेमोरियल पनि छ।
Dilip and Cecir's jump was more than a thrill. It was a loud scream demanding change, a call for accessible tourism.
एक्सेसिबिलिटी कै कुराहरू हुन्छ के हजुरको। जस्तो अब मैले पोखरामा प्याराग्लाइडिङ गर्दाखेरि, कायाकिङ गर्दाखेरि हैन, अप्पर मुस्ताङ चाहिँ हजुरको चाहिँ त्यो अफ रोड गाडीमै जाँदाखेरिको कुराहरूमा चाहिँ अलिकति एक्सेसिबल, अलिकति हामीलाई चाहिँ पहुँचयुक्त चाहिँ ठाउँहरू भएदेखि अलिकति सजिलो हुन्थ्यो भनौँ न। अब यो झोलुङ्गे पुलहरूबाट गरिन्छ हैन, त्यहाँ चाहिँ हल्का र्याम्प के जस्तो व्हिलचेयरकै लागि पनि एउटा स्ट्र्याप राख्दाखेरि त काठको एउटा भनौँ न त्यो फ्लोरिङ जस्तै टाइपले गरिदियो भने त हेल्प गर्ने, असिस्ट गर्नेलाई पनि सजिलो हुने अनि हामीलाई पनि सजिलो हुने चाहिँ हुन्छ।
Music, dance, food, art and devotion are the lifeblood of Mewar culture, an ancient civilization rooted in the Kathmandu Valley of Nepal. With lively festivals nearly every fortnight, the Newars celebrate life through a rich tapestry of traditions known as Jatra, deeply intertwined with the rhythms of agriculture. This is a culture where every celebration is a living expression of heritage, community, and spiritual joy. Welcome to the ancient heart of the Kathmandu Valley, Chaba Hill. Here lies a sacred nexus of faith and tradition, Sri Chandravinayak Temple.
The wishes of the devotees, for instance, moving abroad, or the most important is to get rid of want and allergies. And if we lose something, then we offer a kisli, an ancient small bowl made up of clay in which we put rice and a supari with a coin. It is believed we retrieve the lost thing and wounds or allergies.
This location is not just a place of worship, it is the stage for one of the region's most vibrant annual celebrations, Sri Chandravinayak and Sri Bhairavnath Jatra.
The beginning of the Jatra is always, according to the Newari date, what we call Sakimana Puni. Puni means full moon. It starts from the time of Kartik Purnima, and for this we have to take the auspicious time for the Jatra. There is a place called Amalkot Kachevi. We go there about a week in advance to get the auspicious time. After they give us the auspicious time, then we start the management things. First one who remember and worship when we humans worship is Sri Ganesh Bhagwan. All the Hindu Sanatan Dharma followers all over the world consider Ganesh Bhagwan as the first deity. Similarly, Chandravinayak, the name is different, but their feeling and over devotion towards them is the same. Similarly, Bhairavnath, who is located here in Chabel, Bhairavnath is considered to be a deity who originated here naturally even before Ganesh Bhagwan. Now we consider Bhairav as a form of Shiva, as a part of Shiva, right? In this way, we consider Chandravinayak Bhagwan and Bhairavnath as the center of our faith. Another interesting aspect is this is also in the form of a legend. Our Chandravinayak Bhagwan loves outsiders more than us locals. The reason for that is maybe because they come from so far away with so much hardship. God gives them more blessing. That's how we take it.
Historically, the architecture itself whispers tales of antiquity. The temple complex standing near the ancient Charumati Stupa showcases relics dating back to the literary period, as far back as the 5th to 6th centuries. While the main idol of Sri Chandravinayak has seen renovations over centuries, notably during the Malla era, the site's spiritual lineage is deep-rooted.
हाम्रो यो गणेशलाई चाहिँ चन्द्रविनायक 4 गणेश मध्ये एक गणेश भगवान हो। एक गणेश जस्तै चन्द्रविनायक, सूर्यविनायक, जलविनायक, अशोक विनायक।
Sri Chandra Vinayak is one of the most important lord in the four Vinayak, Surya Vinayak, Chandra Vinayak, Jal Vinayak and Ashok Vinayak. This jatra was initiated during the Licchavi period as Goddess Kumari and Lord Bhairav were way before this time frame is known. It is believed that Lord Bhairav is the protector and of the local residents of Sabel, and the prasad is said to cure diarrhea and cholera.
The unique feature of this celebration is the dual focus. While the pillar of Bhairavnath was historically renowned, the divine presence of Lord Ganesh is equally honored. The festival marks the time when the forces unite, celebrated through grand processions and rituals that honor the valley's layered history, blending Hindu and ancient Buddhist iconography.
Now
we are busy with jobs and businesses. But the previous generation were all in agriculture, and this time, which falls in Kartik and Mangsir, is the time when it gets cold, or the time to harvest the crops, and the time to rest after being tired from harvesting the crops. So, on the first day of the Jatra, we offer the new crop, the various crops that have been harvested, such as wheat, soybeans, rice, lava, all these as halimali prasad to Ganesh Bhagwan. After offering that to God, then all our families relax, thinking that our agricultural work is done and we have a new feast. Thank the gods and have a palanquin procession and a feast. This is how we are moving forward in its main religious, social, all forms.
The main celebration commences on the full moon day of Hindu month Kartik, which typically falls in November.
The first day of the full moon of Kartik, we lit a sacred fire known as Dhuni. Second day is Ganesh Jatra here in the temple. On the third day, we take the chariot to Chuchepate and end the 4 days ceremony with Sindur Jatra.
The day begins with solemnity as a great sacred fire. The Dhuni is lit for the well-being of all people, a ritual known for devotees gathering together to warm themselves, believing it grants health benefits and religious merits. The climax is the Rath Yatra, the chariot procession. The chariots of Bhairavnath are elaborately decorated, and the image of Sri Chandra Vinayak is also brought out for worship.
Playful chariot battle is done as Lord Ganesh is worshipped at first, and the chariot of Lord Bhairav ramps up the chariot of Sri Chandra Vinayak 3 times, believing this long ceremonial ritual. It is also believed that when the chariot strikes that place, is protected from the divine. Previously, chariots were stopped in front of every house, but nowadays it is only stopped in most important places of Chabel due to urbanization.
We see traditional mock rituals, like a playful struggle where Ganesh attempts to enter the main sanctum depicting ancient mythology played out in the streets. The deities are later bathed in the ancient Gangahiti, a water source just north of the temple, a ritual that can last late into the night. The atmosphere is one of joyous devotion and playful energy.
The head priest is selected from Pasupati Development Trust, who are the employees themselves. They are given a special area for the formal event. Previously, they used to come in barefoot, but now we have solved their problem with this new space. They use the traditional tantric ritual to worship the deities. After the tantric rituals done by the priests, the deities get a new form. It can be seen with the change of the ornaments, same like the day as Lord Ganesh is worshipped, especially on Tuesday. His form is more strong and divine, and the ornaments used in the jatras are special, not the one being used every day. Lord Ganesh is worshipped by the Sakya priests with their own rituals, and the Lord Bhairav is worshipped by the Vajracharya priests according to their own rites and rituals. Now, not many Sakya and Vajracharya priests are here in Nepal to forward this ancient ceremonial festival.
More than just religious rites, the Jatra is a powerful social binder. It is the time when relatives are invited as honored guests, transforming Chabhal into a hub of reunion and festivity. The homes themselves become part of the decoration illuminated to celebrate the occasion.
We are teaching our kids the same what we did learn from our earlier generation, and we have already started to train them. Now, our daughter and sons do not attend college just to take part in this heavenly festival. They are interested in their culture and promoting it with full confidence. That's why we are trying to teach them everything what we learned to keep our tradition and culture alive. Every year a new face is introduced so that they participate with full confidence and happiness with equality. Whoever is devoted and interested, they are welcomed and given priority here.
Devotees strongly believe that participating in this Jatra guarantees the same spiritual blessings as worshipping the deities throughout the entire year. Consequently, the number of culture enthusiasts joins the thousands of pilgrims each year.
In this crowd, we are moving forward in our race of life. Mostly people go abroad for studies, earn money, but there are many friends like us who feel that our identity, the heritage of our country, the greatest assets of our country is our culture, which our ancestors have been handing over to us. This is our identity. If this identity is not preserved, then in the future neither our existence nor the existence of the nation of Nepal will remain. We are working hard, we are suffering, but we are devoted. God is helping us. That's why we don't have to go abroad. God is watching over us. We always have one thing, that our devotion to God is always awakened, and the work we do is also our devotion to God. And the main thing we do is for the good of all our Nepalese residents, for the good of the country. That's why we always work hard.
To manage this growing vibrant event, the locals have set up a coordination committee to ensure everything runs smoothly and joyfully.
Now this management, which we have formed as Sri Chandra Vinayak and Bhairanath Jatra Coordination Committee. Actually, there are separate Guthi, Palas and religious Guthi that have been established earlier to conduct the Jatra. But this issue, gradually, as the youth migrate and a generation gets older, it's become difficult to operate. Not only for the Guthi Palas. Then, to play a coordinating role, we formed this committee. The coordination committee, it includes all the Ganesh Palas, Bhairav Palas and the Guthi that carries Chhatra. There is a Guthi called Kha Guthi. There are many such Guthi. We have included all of them and formed a working committee and started organizing this program in this way. It has been more than 10 years now.
After the coordination committee was established, we have upgraded with the process and the rituals of Jatra. After this Jatra ends, the Guyeswari Jatra is commenced with the Muktinath Baja Khala. It's been 6 years as we are getting funded by the Pasupati Development Trust.
This historic and ancient cultural heritage of Chaba Hill stands as a vital part of Nepal's identity. Preserving and revitalizing this tradition requires a collaborative commitment from the nation as a whole and from every Nepali, both at home and abroad.
It's been 6 years as we are getting funded by the Pasupati Development Trust, increasing the fund by 10% every year. As I have known, it is 70 to 80,000 rupees. From the municipality office, we are also funded 10 lakh Nepalese rupees. But as the governmental process takes time and the taxes are deducted, we get 8 lakh rupees in total for the festival. So we all residents of Chabel gather together and collect fund if the scarcity occurs. But we do not stop the festival.
Active participation and support are essential to safeguard and promote these cultural celebrations that uphold our national heritage.
It's early in the morning at the Three Hills village at the Wildlife Reserve area known as Burunge at Babati district in Manyara region. Mama Simba starts her new busy day with her daily responsibilities. This is a tradition which she carries day by day throughout the week from Monday to Friday. After preparing breakfast for the children, Mama Simba walks the children to school. The school is about half a kilometer from their home. The availability of the community living at this area has managed to create the cohabitation, interaction between wildlife and humans. Mdori Primary School is one of the schools that have benefited with various development projects of which are a product of tourism revenue at the Burunge area. Not only within the education sector, such as schools alone are benefiting from the tourism at the community, living within the wildlife reserve area at Burunge, but also health sector of which both sectors cater social services. Mama Simba is one of the main beneficiaries of the tourism activities within the area and the sector as a whole by being provided with entrepreneurial skills. Not only to her personally, but other women within her community. All these efforts have been delivered by the investors who had rented the touristic areas within the wildlife reserved area at Burunge, so as to make sure that the community within the area do benefit through the investment.
I have benefited a lot, I can say, through tourism as a whole. First, I've been able to get an entrepreneurial education, and this has helped me in business management. We are taught something called value chain. The value chain is where it starts and where it ends. So we have been able to get that education, and this has helped me a lot on the business side. I've learned how to do business, what communication skills to use, and when doing business, there is business competition, and how to survive business competition. For example, I'm doing this type of business and there's someone else doing the same business. How should I do it so that I can attract more customers and be different from others? I've been able to learn various methods to be able to do that. Burunge has investors such as Chemchem, Kibo, and many more investors in the wildlife area. I got most of the wildlife knowledge through them. That education has helped me in good governance studies. We have been taught that if you see an animal, you should not think of meat but value in terms of money. We have benefited through our handicrafted products, and we need to protect our forest, because if our forest is invaded and trees used for handmade products are cut down, we would not have other ways to make an income out of handmade products.
Investment of various business activities within Burunge area has helped out in charting ways for the employment market, especially to youth and local traditional groups in entertainment and creativity. Mama Simba is one of the group member and a leader of the traditional dance group and arts known as Chemchem. And this involves the Maasai and Wambungwe, who are the natives within the area. In order to make sure that the environment of the natural habitat and wildlife, that is flora and fauna, to spearhead sustainability to the community and the wildlife to the present and future generation, the Tanzania Wildlife Management Authority Tower have put much efforts and emphasis in offering educational in environmental conservation in collaboration with the Wildlife Management Area WMA, the tourism sector stakeholders, together with the community around the area.
We educate. This education is divided into 3 parts: conservation education, education on how to deal with wildlife animal, and we also cater for environmental education. In this community, we are successful by a larger percentage because we provide education in institutions like schools, but also in villages. If you look at this area, it has been taken care of in a larger percentage and is conducive for conservation investment activities, including phototourism and hunting tourism, of which leads to adding income from conservation activities. We can measure that income by the year 2022. They have managed to collect 2 billion shillings, so this is a profit that goes back to the villages in order to continue doing conservation activities, including wildlife and environmental protection. But the most important thing we offer in these areas, we have said, is sustainable conservation. There is a positive impact that comes from conservation through investment in conservation areas, tourism activities, hence continuation on a larger scale in tourism activities, and we get a lot of tourists.
The Burunge community, in collaboration with Wildlife Management Area WMA, has been able to introduce wildlife and human protection by providing employment to women within the community as game rangers. The game rangers do patrol within 24 hours so as to ensure the tight security, hence all illegal conduct within the managed and conserved area for wildlife is prevented, and at the same time, the wildlife animals do not invade the human area and destroy their crops and livestock.
This work has given me tremendous success. I've been able to educate my child, build a house, and doing various social activities. I advise my fellow women to do this work, to love it, and to do it with confidence. We help the community in protecting of their properties. For example, we do patrol work, we protect the crops and help people chasing away wild animals that destroy their properties. Secondly, we are protecting against poaching in this area of Burunge Wildlife Management. We are assisted by villagers in getting various information to prevent poaching. We do follow-ups on the information, and when we are satisfied with our investigation, we arrest the poachers and take them to the law enforcement agencies. I advise fellow women to love this work, appreciate it, and do it wholeheartedly.
Indeed, the Wildlife Game Reserve community at Burunge has been the best example for sustainable tourism and the best practice in environmental conservation, hence sustainable tourism, and at the same time empowering women. The participation and involvement of the community in environmental and wildlife conservation has been the game-changer spirit in ensuring the illegal conducts like poaching, wildlife trafficking, environmental and agriculture crop destruction is put to an end. The community at large has been able to benefit and access social welfare such as good schools, health centers, and economical boost through the tourism sector. Sustainable tourism for present and future generation. Our heritage, your heritage.
Only after 6 decades of the institutional development of the now popular game of cricket did Nepal get the opportunity to play in the World Cup. Although cricket was introduced in Nepal during the Rana regime, the sport was confined to a limited number of people, namely the elite. It all started with equipment brought by students returning from their studies in Britain and India. Although Cricket Association of Nepal (CAN) was established in 1947, cricket remained centered among a few affluent individuals and in limited tournaments for a long time. Starting with the Bishnu Trophy in 1948, tournaments were limited to competitions like the Madan Memorial Sealed, Jugal Kishore Trophy, Rammani Trophy, and later the Jai Trophy. Even as the sport expanded outside Kathmandu Valley, it took decades for cricket to develop at the grassroots level. After the International Cricket Council (ICC) granted Nepal affiliate membership in 1988, Nepali cricket embarked on its international journey. The rule of mandatory participation in tournaments by the ICC and the Asian Cricket Council ACC opened doors to international competition for Nepal. After participating in the Under-19 Asian tournament in Hong Kong in 1996, Nepal has not looked back. Winning titles at the Asian and global levels, Nepali cricket team continues its journey towards the pinnacle of world cricket.
Goes down the ground because he was given that line outside off stump. So the first boundary of the contest, a handsome one.
Initially confined to Tulikkhel in Kathmandu, many international tournaments were hosted in Nepal after an international standard ground was built in Kirtipur. Nepal has also shown its proactiveness in differently abled cricket tournaments like the T20 World Cup for the blind in 2012 and the Asian Cricket Tournament for the deaf. Nepali women's national cricket team has also achieved remarkable success in a short period of time. The latest addition in Nepali cricket is the floodlit Tribhuvan University Cricket Stadium and the Nepal Premier League that has provided opportunity for Nepali players to rub shoulders with world-class players.
President Paul leads high-level talks as political parties commit to creating favorable conditions for upcoming elections. With 73 days to go, Election Commission enforces inclusive rules for proportional representation candidates. September 8-9 violence probe advances as Inquiry Commission's statement from former Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak. Gold prices hit a record high. Traders attribute fluctuation to international market trends and changing demand. Hundreds protest outside Bangladesh High Commission in New Delhi over lynching case. Tensions heightened between two countries. And Nepal's women's cricket team set to compete in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup Global Qualifier in January. Good evening. I am April Agising Lama.
This is NTV World News Hour coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepali time. Now the news in details. The government and Nepal's major political parties have agreed to work collectively to create a conducive environment for the upcoming House of Representatives elections scheduled for March 5th. The understanding was reached during high-level talks convened by President Ramchandra Paudel at the Presidential Office Sheetal Niwas on Tuesday. The meeting brought together Prime Minister Sushila Karki and senior leaders from the country's major political parties, including former Prime Ministers Sher Bahadur Deuba, KB Sharma Oli and Pushpa Kamal Dahal, also known as Prachanda. According to the President's press advisor Kiran Pokhrel, leaders also agreed to hold further detailed discussions to ensure smooth and credible elections. President Paudel stressed that the polls are essential to addressing the country's current political challenges and urged all stakeholders to take responsibility for making the March 5th elections a success. With just 73 days remaining until Nepal's House of Representatives election on 5th March, the Election Commission is intensifying preparations for the proportional representation system. Political parties are required to submit their closed candidate list early next week with a minimum of 11 and a maximum of 110 names per party. The list must reflect Nepal's inclusive policies based on the 2028 national census. At least 50% of candidates from each group must be women, while candidates from backward regions and persons with disabilities must also be included. To guide parties on these legal and technical requirements, the Election Commission held an orientation program in Kathmandu, which party representatives described as highly useful ahead of the submission deadlines set for December 28 and 29th. The orientation ensures compliance and smooth conduct of the proportional representation election system. The Inquiry Commission investigating incidents of September 8 and 9 has sent a letter to the then Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak asking him to furnish a statement. Commission member Bigyan Raj Sharma informed that the Commission has sent a letter requesting Lekhak to appear at the Commission's office this Friday to give his statement regarding the incidents during the Gen Z movement. The Commission has said after recording statements from the former Chief Secretary and the heads of the security agencies during the course of the investigation, it is now proceeding to take statements from the political leadership as well. The Commission has also lifted the movement restrictions imposed on then Home Secretary Gokarna Mani Duwadi, Inspector General of Police IGP Chandrakuber Kapung and Kathmandu Chief District Officer CDO Chabilal Rizal. The Commission had imposed the movement restriction in order to record statements for the investigations. Now, gold prices hit a record high today. The price rose by 5,500 rupees per 11.6 grams to reach 267,200, while silver increased by 20 Nepali rupees to reach 4,255 per tola. Traders have attributed the fluctuations to international market trends and changing demand. Hundreds of people protested near Bangladesh's High Commission in New Delhi today against the lynching of a Hindu man over allegations of blasphemy that has exacerbated tensions between the two nations. The demonstrations called by Hindu groups involved people clashing with police personnel as they tried to push through barricades set up near the High Commission. 27-year-old factory worker Deepu Chandra Das was beaten and set on fire in Bangladesh's Maiman Singh district last week by a crowd that accused him of making derogatory remarks about the Prophet. At least 10 people have been arrested in connection with his death. The lynching has worsened relations between India and its neighbor weeks before Bangladesh holds parliamentary elections, and both countries have suspended visa services. Bangladesh said it summoned the Indian envoy today to express concern over a similar protest near its mission in New Delhi on Saturday and violent protests outside other diplomatic missions, urging India to investigate the incidents. Diplomatic ties have been strained since Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina fled to New Delhi following deadly protests against her last year. Nepal's women's cricket team is set to compete in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup Global Qualifier with a full match schedule now announced. The tournament featuring 10 teams will take place from 14th January at the Mulpani Cricket Ground and the Tribhuvan University Cricket Stadium. Nepal has been placed in Group B alongside Scotland, Thailand, the Netherlands and Zimbabwe, while Group A includes Bangladesh, Ireland, Namibia, Papua New Guinea and the USA. Nepal will face Thailand in its opening match at Mulpani. This marks Nepal's first appearance in the global qualifier, having advanced through the Asia regional stage. The top 3 teams from each group will progress to the Super 6 stage, with the top 4 ultimately qualifying for the 2026 Women's T20 World Cup. Prime Minister Sushila Karki and top leaders of major political parties met President Ramchandra Paudel today. The high-level meeting focused on the current political situation and the upcoming March 5 elections. More on this after a short break. You're watching NTV World News Hour. Welcome back. Prime Minister Sushila Karki and chiefs of 3 major political jointly called on President Ramchandra Paudel today. Prime Minister Karki, President of the Nepali Congress Chair Bahadur Deuba, CPN-UML Chair KP Sharma Oli and Coordinator of the Nepali Communist Party Pushpa Kamal Dahal attended the meeting with the head of the state. It was the first time the top leaders and Prime Minister Karki held a joint meeting with the President after the September 8 and 9 Zenzi movement. The meeting dwelt on current political situation, including the upcoming March 5 elections. Minister of Communications and Information Technology Jagdish Kharel said that reaching out to the offices of political parties was to convey a clear message that the government is trying to hold elections honestly. Talking to media persons after inspecting the offices of political parties damaged during the Gen Z movement in the federal capital today, Minister Kharel said that he has assured the leaders of the political parties that the government is committed to holding the election. Now, as the date of the House of Representatives election draws nearer, political activities have intensified. The government has stepped up discussions with political leaders. Political analysts emphasize that the solution to the current political situation lies in holding elections. We have a report.
The Election Commission says it is working according to the announced election calendar and is ready to conduct the polls on time. Both the government and the Commission are urging political parties and voters to focus on participation as the election date approaches. Against this backdrop, Nepal's president on Tuesday hosted a high-level dialogue at the presidential palace, bringing together the Prime Minister and the leaders of the country's three largest political parties for the first time. The nearly 3-hour meeting ended without a public disclosure of all agenda items. But the fact that the talks took place is being seen as significant in itself. The dialogue comes amid concerns over political mistrust between the government and the major political parties at a critical moment in the election process. Analysts say the meeting may help rebuild confidence and align key stakeholders around the planned vote. Political engagement has intensified in the recent days. On Monday night, Rashtriya Swatantra Party Chair Ravi Lamichhane held talks lasting more than 6 hours with Kathmandu Metropolitan City Mayor Balendra Shah. The same day, separate discussions were held between the leaders of the Nepali Congress and the CPN UML. Earlier, during an all-party meeting at the Prime Minister's office, leaders from the Nepali Congress, UML and the Nepal Communist Party expressed doubts over whether elections could be held under the current circumstances. Some warned that failure to conduct polls could lead to the restoration of the dissolved House of Representatives.
मूल त 21 गतेको निर्वाचन त्यसमा अलिकता फेरि यो कदापि हैन कि शेड्युलमा अलिकता भन्दाखेरि यो नेपाली कांग्रेस निर्वाचन प्रति पूर्ण प्रतिबद्ध छ। अहिले पनि म आफ्नो पार्टीको धारणा राख्दछु, पूर्ण प्रतिबद्ध छ। निर्वाचन भयरहित हुनु पर्यो, निष्पक्ष हुनु पर्यो, धाँधली रहित हुनु पर्यो। दलका नेताहरूमाथि अहिले पनि स्थान हद लगाएकै छ। मै हो क्यारे 5-7 जिल्ला जाँदाखेरि ढुङ्गा खाएर आएको मान्छे, हामीले ढुङ्गा खाए बापत खुसियाली मनाइएकै छ। त्यही भएर चुनाव 21 गते हुन्छ भन्ने कुरामा चाहिँ हामी चाहिँ विश्वस्त छैनौं।
Civil society representatives participating in the discussions cautioned against changing electoral rules after an election date has already been announced, arguing that such moves could undermine the election environment. They called on political actors to remain focused on the vote. Constitutional expert Kimlal Devkota says that as the election dates near, political parties should prioritize elections as the primary means to resolve looming constitutional and political challenges.
फागुन 21 गतेको निम्ति घोषित निर्वाचन सम्पन्न गर्नुको अर्को कुनै विकल्प मैले देखिराखेको छैन। के कारणले भन्दा संविधान ट्र्याकमा ल्याउन, सिस्टम ट्र्याकमा ल्याउन र मुलुकको अस्थिरतालाई अलिकति भए पनि चाहिँ नियन्त्रण गर्नका निम्ति यो चाहिँ जरुरी छ। त्यो कुरा पक्का हो।
Political analyst Vishnu Sapkota echoes that view, saying elections remain the only viable option to prevent further instability.
मैले देखेको त अहिलेको राजनीतिक संवैधानिक र व्यवहारिक निकास भनेकै सबै दल प्रतिबद्ध भएर भनेको मितिमा चुनाव गर्नु हो। त्यो गरिएन भने यो सरकारको त छाड दिउँ, सरकार त अन्तरिम बन्यो, यो जाला रे, त चिन्ता मलाई सरकारको होइन। त्यो भन्दा देशको राजनीतिक कोर्स, संवैधानिक कोर्स र यिनै राजनीतिक दलहरूलाई के होला भनेर यो चिन्ता यो सरकारको प्रधानमन्त्री सुशीला कार्की र त्यहाँका केही मन्त्रीहरूको चिन्ता होइन यो।
While the Nepal Communist Party, the largest force in the dissolved parliament, has consistently backed elections, the Nepali Congress and UML have been exploring the possibility of parliamentary reinstatement. In that context, Tuesday's presidential-level dialogue is being viewed as a potential icebreaker between the government and the two major parties. Observers say the talks could also help insulate the 5th March election from the competing political agendas, including renewed activism by established parties, the growing visibility of Ravi Lamichhane's outreach, and emerging demands from younger Gen Z-led groups on the streets. For now, authorities maintain that the election remains on track, with political consensus still a work in progress.
The representation of the ethnic group Khas Aryas in Nepal's federal parliament proportional representation system is set to see a decline in the upcoming election, while Dalit representation is also expected to lessen slightly as the Election Commission enforces proportional quotas based on the 2021 census. Bijita Bhandari reports.
The representation of Khas Aryas as the most populous ethnicity in Nepal is certain to go down in the federal parliament in the upcoming election. As parties are preparing to submit the closed list for the proportional representation system, Election Commission of Nepal has directed the parties to adopt the proportion quota as per the new census of 2021. As per the data of the Election Commission, the population of Khas Aryas has decreased by almost 1% in the country from the earlier census of 2011. As per the latest census, Khas Aryas make up 30.28% of the total population of the country, while in the earlier representation quota based on the 2011 census, it was 31.2%. According to the 2021 census, the indigenous nationalities make up 28.72%, Abhijits make 16.15%, Dalit makes 13.44%, Tharo makes 6.52%, and Muslims at 4.8% of the total population. Previously, based on the 2011 census, the figures showed that Dalits were at 13.8%, indigenous nationalities at 28.7%, Khas Aryas at 31.2%, Madheshis at 15.3%, Tharo at 6.6%, and Muslims at 4.4%. While all other ethnic groups saw some increment in the population in the 2021 census, the proportional share in the legislature is certain to remain the same, if not increased. According to the Commission, at least 4.02% of the candidates must come from backward regions, including Acham, Kalikot, Jajarkot, Jumla, Dolba, Badhang, Bajura, Mugu, and Humla of the Karnali region. A total of 93 political parties who have applied to contest in the proportional representation system are being trained by the Election Commission to ensure the new census's proportion.
दलहरुलाई बन्द सूची पेश गर्ने समय यही पौष 13 र 14 गते निर्धारण गरिएको छ। दलहरुले बन्द सूची पेश गर्दाखेरि आवश्यक पर्ने कागजातहरु के हुन् अनि कस्ता कस्ता उम्मेदवारहरु बन्द सूचीमा पेश गर्न मिल्छ, योग्यता अयोग्यताका विषय के हुन् भन्ने लगायतका कानुनी व्यवस्था र बन्द सूची पेश गर्दाखेरि त्यसको समावेशी क्लस्टरको व्यवस्था अनि समावेशिताको व्यवस्था लगायतको प्राविधिक विषयहरु यी कानुनी र प्राविधिक विषयहरुमा अभिमुखीकरण कार्यक्रम सञ्चालन गरिएको।
Of the 275 seats in the federal parliament, 110 have been allocated for proportional representation chosen through the percentage vote received by each party. 40% of the representation has been ensured by the constitution to ensure inclusive and equitable representation of all gender, ethnic groups, region, religion, among others in the legislature. Political parties submit a ranked or numbered closed list of candidates in advance, which cannot be altered. Candidates are elected from this list based on the number of votes the party receives, which is later converted into percentage and seats allocated accordingly. Political parties are expected to submit their closed list for proportional representation within a week, though there is a week-long window for parties to amend the list once verified by the Commission. The aim is to educate the parties in advance so that there would not be any issues. Bijita Bhandari with camera person Binita Rijal reporting for NTV World.
Gold and silver prices soared to record highs today. Traders blame international market trends and changing demand. More on this on our cover story after a break. You're watching NTV World News Hour. Welcome back. The price of gold has reached an all-time high today, increasing by 5,500 Nepali rupees per tola, while the price of silver rose by 20 Nepali rupees. With the increased hallmark, gold is now selling at 267,200 Nepali rupees per tola and silver at 4,255 per tola. On Monday, hallmark gold was traded at 261,700 Nepali rupees per tola and the price of silver was 4,235 per tola. Gold and silver traders say prices have been fluctuating due to the impact of the international market and changes in demand. With global demand surging, silver is fast transforming from a traditional ornament into the metal of the future. From Kathmandu's bustling jewelry markets to the world's cutting-edge renewable energy labs, this versatile metal is emerging as a new frontier for investment and innovation, linking local economies to global technological ambitions. Our colleague Suveksha Rajak reports.
From jewelry shops in New Road to the global trading floors of London, one metal is quietly stealing the spotlight. Silver, once seen as gold's little brother, is now emerging as long-term investment opportunity. In Nepal as well, silver has shown remarkable strength over the past 5 years. According to Federation of Nepal Gold and Silver Dealers Association in 2021, silver in Nepal has steadily risen from around an average of 1166.52 rupees per 11.66 grams to nearly 4,000 rupees per 11.66 grams till November 2025. 1 tola is equivalent to approximately 11.66 grams.
नेपालीहरुको सन्दर्भमा चाहिँ के पनि हो भने सुन चाँदी भनेको चाहिँ पैसा हुँदाखेरि अलिकति लिने र आफुलाई खाँचो पर्दाखेरि बेच्ने त्यो हिसाबले पनि सुन चाँदी किन्ने हुन्छ र त्यसमा चाहिँ चाँदी अहिले बढी सुन चाहिँ अहिले अब नेपालीहरुको क्रय शक्ति अनुसार त सुन सक्ने अवस्था छैन वास्तवमा भन्ने हो भने तर चाँदी चाहिँ अहिले सकिन्छ र मलाई जहाँसम्म लाग्छ चाँदीको पोटेन्शियल अहिले भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि पनि नेपालमा पनि चाँदीको अहिले चाहिँ माग चाहिँ धेरै बढेको छ मान्छेहरुले अब चाँदीको अलिकति चाँदी नै राख्ने अथवा चाँदीको चाहिँ भाडाकुँडाहरु चाहिँ राख्ने अलिकति क्याशको रूपमा त्यसलाई चाहिँ एउटा आफ्नो एसेटको रूपमा राख्ने हिसाबले पनि चाँदीहरु किन्नेहरु भएको हुनाले अहिले चाँदीको माग पनि बढेको छ हैन र अलिकति चाँदीमा मान्छेको इन्ट्रेस्ट पनि बढेको चाहिँ छ.
But the story does not end here. Today, 11.66 grams of silver fetches 4,255 rupees in the Nepali market. Gold and silver are must-haves for any Nepali wedding and ceremonies. However, with prices skyrocketing, a couple in Western Nepal got married without gold or silver. This is now making news headlines. From general Nepalis, metals like gold and silver are not merely ornaments but securing capital and investments. For everyday citizens, silver is best seen as a long-term savings option rather than a quick profit investment. It has also been valuable, generating revenue for the country through tax and to the skilled artisans for continuation of their skills. Unlike gold, silver is accessible to everyday citizens.
World चाँदीहरु चाहिँ चारवटा सेक्टरमा बढी प्रयोग भएको देखियो. एउटा सेक्टर चाहिँ यो स्याटेलाइटमा हैन. अर्को सेक्टर भनेको चाहिँ नि सोलर पावरमा, अर्को सेक्टर भनेको ईभी भेहिकलहरुमा, ईभी ब्याट्री भेहिकलको ब्याट्रीहरुमा र अर्को भनेको मोबाइल फोनहरुमा. तिनीहरुमा चाहिँ चाँदी प्रयोग भएको देखियो. अरु मान्छेहरुलाई के छ भने अब अहिले चाहिँ चाँदी बढेर 7,000 सम्म पुग्छ अथवा 8,000 सम्म पुग्छ भन्ने पनि आइरहेछ.
Historical data shows silver steadily appreciating even during economic uncertainty, and silver is traded worldwide, meaning your investment is tied to international demand. As Nepal moves towards renewable energy and digital growth, silver's demand will only rise.
And now, in this context, in our public post segment today, we have asked why are people investing in silver? Here's what they had to say.
चाँदी चाहिँ मलाई मन पर्छ हैन. चाँदी चाहिँ अब पैसा छ भने चाहिँ चाँदी किनेर राख्दा पनि हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई हैन. अहिले अब त्यस्तो बढिराको भयो भने अब सेलेरी आयो भने किन्नु पर्ला. किनभने त्यो भन्दा अझै बढ्छ नि त.
My mother, she is investing in silver as it is a valuable asset.
Of course, I'm just planning to buy silver because gold price is going high. To be as average people, or to be if you can't afford the expensive items, yeah, you can use the silver.
Silver is a metal and now its price is increasing. If I invest now and it will be benefit for me in future.
अब चाँदी पनि योभन्दा अगाडि त मान्छेहरू सुन चाहिँ महँगो भन्थे चाँदी महँगो भन्ने कुरा सुनिँदैन थियो अब अहिले त चाँदी चाहिँ झन् चाहिँ एकदम माथि आयो हुनाले सायद चाँदीमा बढी चाहिँ मान्छेहरूको आकर्षण भएको हो कि हैन चाँदीलाई चाहिँ त्यो एउटा आफ्नो सम्पत्ति बनाएर राख्ने चाहिँ सोचाइ होला हुनेको त त्यही हुन्छ नि जोसँग पैसा छ त्यसले त लगानी गर्न खोज्छ
I like silver. Silver price is rising, so it is good for investment.
My brother, who is studying in US, he spent about around 1 kg of silver, and he put in a bank. It's compound interesting. In compound interest, what will happen that the interest will increase day by day compared to the gold and silver. Gold take too much time to increase their value. No, but silver doesn't need, because the value of silver in 2021 is less, around 1100 or something. But in 2025, it was increased by 55%. So in a silver, investing is a good thing in my perspective.
Moving on, in the hilly Palpa district, increasing cold has begun affecting children from the marginalized Mazi and Boat communities. In Tansin municipality, children are falling ill with coughs, fever, tonsillitis and chest infections, local officials say. Many parents in these communities work as daily laborers and collect sand from the Kaligandagi river, leaving children without proper care. These economically and socially disadvantaged groups also face shortages of basic services, including warm clothing, nutritious food, healthcare, education, roads, and drinking water. Local authorities warn that urgent attention is needed to protect the health and well-being of these vulnerable children. Now, victims of loan sharks have once again taken to the streets, saying that the government has not fulfilled their demands over the past 3 years. At present, victims from 35 districts across the country have come to Kathmandu and are pressing the government for action. The victims have also submitted a memorandum outlining their demands to the government.
मिटर ब्याज पीडितहरूलाई पक्राउ गर्ने जेल चलान गराउने पीडितको घर जग्गालाई चाहिँ लिलामी गराउने घर खाली गराउने त्यो काम जुन भइरहेको छ न्यायको लागि हामीहरू धेरै हेर्नुहुन्छ कति दिदीबहिनीहरू र कति निमुखाहरू आफ्नो गाउँबाट भाडा तिरेर आउँछन् भुखा प्यासा आउँछन् तर यहाँ आएर उपलब्धिको लागि आएको छन् सरकारसँग वार्ता गर्न आएको छन् तर सरकारले हामीहरूलाई अहिलेसम्म धोखा दिएर
Monday, the victims submitted a memorandum to the Chief Secretary of the Government of Nepal, Suman Raj Aryal. They have demanded that forged documents created by lenders be annulled, a strong special law be enacted against meter interest, and a judicial body be formed to deal with such cases. They are also demanding an investigation into the property of leaders who charge exorbitant interest through unfair means, the return of seized property to victims, and the assurance of fair and just financial transactions.
केही समय अगाडि नेपाल सरकारले गृह मन्त्रालयले चाहिँ सबै जिल्ला प्रशासन कार्यालयहरूलाई यो विषयहरू समाधान गर्नलाई यस विषयहरूलाई एक्सपिडाइट गर्ने सन्दर्भमा चाहिँ सबै जिल्ला प्रशासन कार्यालयलाई एउटा परिपत्र गरेको छ। यो परिपत्र अनुसार सम्पूर्ण जिल्ला प्रशासन कार्यालयहरू कार्यस्थलमा खटिरहेको अवस्था छ। विशेष गरिकन हामीले यस्ता समस्याहरूलाई समाधान गर्ने सन्दर्भमा जिल्ला प्रशासन कार्यालयमा चाहिँ सहायक प्रमुख जिल्ला अधिकारीको संयोजकत्वमा एउटा सहजीकरण डेस्क गठन गरेका छौं।
To address the issue, the government has formed commissions and task forces 3 times to conduct studies. According to the victims, around 70,000 victims submitted applications to these commissions and task forces. Although agreements were reached between lenders and borrowers in some cases through these mechanisms, the victims say that a large number of problems still remain unresolved. China's ambassador to Nepal, Chen Song, has paid a farewell call on President Ramchandra Paudel today. According to the office of the president, during the meeting held at Sheetal Niwas, the two discussed matters of Nepal-China relations and mutual welfare and interest. The president thanked Ambassador Chen for successfully completing his term. Now, the Education Department of Kathmandu Metropolitan City has issued a public notice asking 107 schools to come into contact citing lack of physical operation. Based on the notice issued by the metropolis, in line with the decision of the Municipal Education Committee on August 13 this year, it was found that some schools which had previously received permission are currently not operating on the ground. The metropolis has given these 107 schools 15 days to contact the Education Department. The Metropolitan City has also made the list of such schools public and stated that it is moving forward with the process of cancelling the permits of schools if needed. Now, following reconstruction of the Miteri Bridge between Nepal and China, which had been washed away by floods, the Rashwagadi Immigration Office has begun renewing border passes for travel between Rashwa and Kerung. The reconstruction took 6 months to complete. According to the Immigration Office in Rashwa, the process of renewing passes for vehicle drivers traveling toward Kerung for the purpose of importing goods has started. Chinese government completed the construction of a Bailey Bridge over the Lende River between Nepal and China, and as a result, the renewal of passes, duplication and issuance of new passes, among others, have been underway for the past few days. The Immigration Office in Rashwa has said, in the case of individuals who have migrated and settled in Rashwa district from outside, renewal, duplication and issuance of new passes will be carried out only based on consensus of all stakeholders. Now, in northern Dading's Ruby Valley Rural Municipality, a tourist lodge built nearly a decade ago at Pangsang Bhanjang remains abandoned and in disrepair. Constructed with UK aid support by the Trekking Association of Nepal to provide accommodation for trekkers on the Ruby Valley Trail, the lodge now lies unused, with livestock occasionally kept inside. The facility, located at an altitude of 3,850 meters, was intended to offer trekkers rest and shelter while enjoying panoramic views of mountains including Paldur, Wabil and Ganesh. However, poor maintenance and lack of local management have left it unfit for human use. Authorities say greater attention is needed to preserve and maintain such tourist infrastructure to ensure investment is not wasted and to support sustainable tourism in the region. Now, the latest population of endangered gharial crocodiles in Nepal's heart of the jungle, Chitwan National Park, display increasing numbers by 366. A rise in the number of rare gharial crocodiles in the national park's Rapti and Narayani rivers highlights the significant strides in long-term conservation efforts. Rojina Rai with our local correspondent Rajendra Acharya explained more on this matter.
The population of the rare and endangered gharial crocodile is on the rise in Nepal's first national park, Chitwan National Park, particularly in the Rapti and the Narayani rivers. According to a monitoring and census conducted on 7th to 9th December 2025 by the Chitwan National Park Office, a total of 366 gharials were evidently seen in these two major rivers. The park's information officer reported that 231 gharials were spotted in the Rakti River and 135 in the Narayani River. This marks an increase of 14 individuals compared to last year's total of 352. The census also revealed a rise in the number of male gharials, with 9 males recorded, in total 7 in the Rapti and 2 in the Narayani, highlighting a positive trend in population. The increase in the gharial population is attributed on ongoing conservation efforts. Since 1978 Bikram Sambat, the park has operated a dedicated gharial breeding center in Kasara, Chitwan. The center collects eggs, raises hatchlings, and releases them into rivers across the country, including the Rapti and the Narayani, contributing directly to the species recovery and long-term conservation. Interestingly, during the census, a dolphin was also seen at the confluence of the two rivers, taken as an encouraging indicator of overall diversity. Chitwan National Park, a premier wildlife observation site, is also renowned for its Royal Bengal tigers, one-horned rhinos, and diverse area bird species. The park offers jungle safaris, bird watching, and observation towers, making it a prime destination for nature enthusiasts and conservationists alike, with its rich Tarai ecosystem as a backup.
International news coming up next. For now, a look at the headlines once again. President Powell leads high-level talks as political parties commit to creating favorable conditions for upcoming elections. With 73 days to go, Election Commission enforces inclusive rules for proportional representation candidates. September 8, 9 violence probe advances as Inquiry Commission seeks statement from former Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak. Gold prices hit a record high. Traders attribute fluctuations to international market trends and changing demand. Hundreds protest outside Bangladesh High Commission in New Delhi over lynching case. Tensions heightened between two countries. And Nepal's women's cricket team set to compete in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup Global Qualifier in January. US President Donald Trump has sparked a fresh row with Denmark after appointing a special envoy to Greenland, the vast Arctic island he said he would like to annex. The White House has argued that Greenland's strategic location in the Arctic makes it essential to US security interests, particularly as the region sees increasing military and commercial activity due to climate change and shifting global dynamics. Trump previously suggested that the United States could buy Greenland, proposals that were firmly dismissed by Danish and Greenlandic leaders. The move, meanwhile, has angered Copenhagen, which said it would call the U.S. ambassador for an explanation. Greenland's prime minister said the island must decide their own future and its territorial integrity must be respected. Russia has intensified its strike on the southern Ukrainian region of Odessa, causing widespread power cuts and threatening the region's maritime infrastructure. Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Oleksiy Kuleba said Moscow was carrying out systematic attacks on the region. Last week, he warned that the focus of the war may have shifted towards Odessa. President Volodymyr Zelensky said the repeated attacks were an attempt by Moscow to block Ukraine's access to maritime logistics. Earlier in December, Russian President Vladimir Putin threatened to sever Ukraine's access to the sea as retaliation for drone attacks on tankers of Russia's Shadow Fleet in the Black Sea. Shadow Fleet is a term that refers to hundreds of tankers used by Russia to bypass Western sanctions imposed after its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Now, Cambodia's defense ministry spokesperson said the death toll from border clashes with Thailand has risen to 21 as both sides continue to fight. The two nations are set to negotiate truce terms after 2 weeks of deadly border clashes. Cambodia, meanwhile, has asked Thailand to hold bilateral talks in the neutral venue of Kuala Lumpur. Bangkok's defense chief on Tuesday sought to assuage any fears on the Cambodian side about the meeting taking place in Thailand, and the Thai Foreign Ministry said the venue was still being discussed. The nation's long-standing border conflict reignited this month, shattering an earlier truce, killing more than 40 people and displacing over 900,000 on both sides, according to officials. The UN said on Tuesday that Myanmar's junta was using violence and intimidation to force people to vote in upcoming military-controlled elections, while armed opposition groups were using similar tactics to keep people away. United Nations Rights Chief Volker Turk says the military authorities in Myanmar must stop using brutal violence to compel people to vote and stop arresting people for expressing any dissenting views, said in a statement. Myanmar's junta is set to preside over voting starting on Sunday, touting heavily restricted polls as a return to democracy 5 years after it's ousted the last elected government, triggering civil war. But former civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi remains jailed and her hugely popular party dissolved after soldiers ended the nation's decade-long democratic experiment in February 2021. Business news and sports update after this short break.
French farmers have maintained a highway blockade, accusing the government of turning a deaf ear to the grievances over agriculture policies and rising production costs. Protesters, including livestock farmers and crop growers, say government measures have failed to address soaring input prices, falling farm incomes and trade pressures. The blockade, affecting major transport routes, has led to traffic disruptions and delays in goods delivery across several regions. Farmers' Union called on authorities to engage in urgent talks, warning that continued inaction could escalate protests. Government officials have urged dialogue but emphasized the need to balance farmers' demands with broader economic and environmental policies. Toyota announced a recall of more than 55,000 vehicles in the United States due to a potentially loose inverter connection, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said. The defect, if unaddressed, could cause the vehicle's hybrid system to shut down unexpectedly, increasing the risk of a crash. The recall affects multiple model years, though Toyota has not yet specified all impacted vehicles. Owners will be notified by the company, and the dealers will inspect and repair the inverter connection free of charge. NHTSA urged drivers to address the recall promptly to ensure vehicle safety. The recall is part of a broader trend of automakers identifying electronic and hybrid system issues in recent years as vehicle technology becomes more complex. A top Amazon executive has said the U.S. technology giant has blocked more than 1,800 job applications from suspected North Korean agents. North Koreans tried to apply for remote working IT jobs using stolen or fake identities, according to Amazon's chief security officer, Stephen Schmidt. Authorities in the U.S. and South Korea have warned about Pyongyang's operatives carrying out online scams. Amazon has seen a nearly one-third increase in job applications from North Koreans in the past year. The firm says it uses a combination of artificial intelligence tools and verification by staff to screen job applications, adding the strategies used by such fraudsters have become more sophisticated. Vietnam is actively developing a data-driven economy built on key pillars including digital infrastructure, digital human resources, and digital institutions, viewing this as a vital engine for growth. Within this framework, the application of artificial intelligence is identified as a strategic technology under the spirit of Resolution 57, playing a crucial role in building an effective data economy. The AI Act has taken a very sensible approach by clearly distinguishing between high-risk and low-risk systems. For high-risk systems, those capable of making decisions with significant impacts on people's lives, the law must focus on ensuring accountability, embedding security, and building trust from the design stage. According to forecast, by 2028, Vietnam's data market could exceed $1 billion with an average annual growth rate of over 100%.
Time now for sports update. FIFA is testing new technology which can determine if the ball went out of play before a goal was scored. The out-of-bounds innovation is one of a series which were tested in 3 Intercontinental Cup matches in Qatar this month. FIFA has also expanded real-time 3D recreation to make line of sight judgments for offsiders quicker and clearer. The National Sports Council (NSC) has congratulated Renu Tamang, who won a bronze medal in Taekwondo at the 5th Asian Youth Para Games, and her coach Kabiraj Negi Lama today. Acting member secretary of the NSC, Ramcharitra Mehta, met them at his office in Tripureshwar and extended congratulations to both, wishing them continued success in the days ahead. Renu won the bronze medal in the women's under 47 kg K44 category at the Asian Youth Para Games recently held in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Winter sports with local characteristics are creating fun for residents and tourists in China. While launching a series of activities integrating ice and snow sports with cultural tourism on December 20, Zixi City in northeastern China's Heilongjiang province also opened its 3rd Winter Games for residents. More than 2,000 people, including locals and tourists, participated in the opening ceremony. Time now for a look at the weather, first from across Nepal and then from around the world. Now, before we wrap up, let's take a look into the headlines once again. President Paudel leads high-level talks as political parties commit to creating favorable conditions for upcoming elections. With 73 days to go, Election Commission enforces inclusive rules for proportional representation candidates. September 8-9 violence probe advances as Inquiry Commission seeks statement from former Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak. Gold prices hit a record high. Traders attribute fluctuations to international market trends and changing demand. Hundreds protest outside Bangladesh High Commission in New Delhi over lynching case. Tensions heightened between the two countries. And Nepal's women's cricket team set to compete in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup Global Qualifier in January. That is all for the moment. Do join us through our social media and visit us at www.nepaltelevision.com for more information and news. I am Iprilagi Singh Lama. Thank you for watching. Good night.